The day is done. The world outside, with all its noise and demands, has finally fallen silent. You are here, now, in the quiet dark, seeking the deep rest your body craves, the profound peace your mind deserves. Yet, perhaps you find a different kind of silence waiting for you. Not a peaceful one, but a watchful one. A silence in which every thought becomes a shout, every worry a drumbeat. Your body is still, exhausted from the weight of the day, but the mind refuses to rest. It replays conversations, lists tomorrow's tasks, and wanders down old, familiar pathways of regret and anxiety. This is the great paradox of our time, to be utterly spent, yet unable to find the release of sleep. We have come to see rest not as a gentle surrender, but as a battle to be won. We fight the racing thoughts. We wrestle with our own awareness, believing that if we just try hard enough, we can force the mind into submission. But you know, as we all come to learn, that sleep cannot be conquered. It is not a fortress to be taken by force. The more you struggle, the more it recedes. So tonight, we will not struggle. We will not fight. We will not even try. Instead, we will begin a journey, a Zen sleep journey. We will not be led by complex rules, but by two simple, ancient guides. The first is your own breath, the steady, faithful rhythm that has anchored you to life since your first moment. The second is the sound of nature breathing alongside you, a gentle murmur that connects you to the vast, quiet world beyond your walls. Our only task is to allow, to listen, to feel, and to let go. We are not here to demand that the mind become silent, but to create a space so peaceful that it chooses stillness on its own. We are not seeking to capture sleep, but to extend an invitation so soft, so welcoming, that it may arrive as a gentle guest, finding a safe harbor within you. And so, the journey begins, not with a step, but with a single, conscious breath. And so we begin, right here, not in a distant land or a future moment of calm, but in the simple, profound reality of this breath. For now, let everything else fall away. The stories you tell about yourself, the plans you have for tomorrow, the memories you hold of yesterday, let them all soften, let their edges blur. And for these next few moments, allow your entire universe to become as simple as a single inhalation and a single exhalation. Bring your awareness gently to the sensation of your breathing. You don't need to change it or control it or force it to be deep or slow. Your body has been breathing perfectly for your entire life. It needs no instruction from you. The invitation here is not to do, but to notice, to become a quiet, curious witness to the miracle that is happening within you right now. Let your attention rest at the entrance to your nostrils. Without straining, simply wait there and feel the very next breath as it arrives. Notice the temperature of the air as it first touches your skin. It might be slightly cooler than the air that is already within you. Feel that cool, clean stream as it is drawn inward, a gentle current flowing into your body. Follow that sensation as it travels, moving through the nasal passages, down the back of your throat, a silent, life-giving river. Feel how your body makes way for this breath. Perhaps you can feel a subtle expansion in your chest, a gentle rise in your rib cage, or maybe you feel it lower in your belly, a soft swelling of the abdomen as the diaphragm descends. It doesn't matter where you feel it. There is no right or wrong way. Simply rest your attention on whatever sensation is most obvious to you. This is the feeling of your body receiving, of being nourished, of being filled. And then there is a pause, a moment of perfect stillness At the peak of the inhalation, a tiny, quiet space between the in-breath and the out-breath. Rest in that stillness for just a moment, and then feel the gentle release of the exhale. Notice the change in temperature as the air leaves your body, now warmed by your own inner life. It flows back out into the world, a soft, surrendering current. Feel the gentle deflation of your chest or your abdomen, a quiet sense of letting go, of settling. And at the end of the exhale, there is another pause, a moment of emptiness, of quiet, before the cycle begins anew, all on its own. The next breath will arise when it is ready. You do not need to command it. You only need to be present for its arrival. Let's stay here, with this simple rhythm, for a while. Inhale, feeling the cool air enter. Notice the expansion. Pause. Exhale, feeling the warm air leave. Notice the release. Pause. This is the rhythm of life itself. The rhythm of the tides, rising and falling. The rhythm of the seasons, coming and going. It is the most fundamental lullaby in the universe, and it is being sung just for you, inside of you, in every moment. Your mind will likely wander. That is the nature of the mind. It will be pulled away by a sound, a memory, a plan, an itch. This is not a failure. It is simply what minds do. When you notice that your attention has drifted from the breath, the practice is incredibly simple. First, acknowledge where it has gone, without any judgment. A thought about work. A memory of a conversation. Then, gently, and with great kindness, guide your awareness back to the anchor, back to the simple, physical sensation of this breath, right now, this one, the one that is happening in this moment. Every time you guide your mind back, you are strengthening your ability to be present. You are building a muscle of gentle focus. It is not a battle, it is a dance, a gentle rhythm of wandering and returning, wandering and returning. Notice the difference between thinking about your breath and feeling your breath. The thinking mind wants to label and analyze. It might say, "My breath is too shallow," or "I should be breathing more deeply." This is just more thought, another story. See if you can let go of the commentary and drop into the pure, physical sensation itself. The feeling of coolness, the feeling of expansion, the feeling of warmth, the feeling of surrender. It is like the difference between reading a description of the ocean and actually standing in the gentle surf, feeling the water wash over your feet. We are not interested in the description tonight. We are interested in the feeling, the raw, unfiltered, simple reality of being a breathing body. This breath is your most faithful companion. It has never left you. In moments of great joy, it was there. In moments of deep sorrow, it was there. In moments of fear and moments of peace, it has been the constant, underlying rhythm of your life. And tonight, it is your anchor in the present moment. The present moment is the only place where true rest can be found. You cannot rest in the past, for it is gone. You cannot rest in the future, for it has not yet arrived. You can only rest here, now. And the breath is the gateway. The breath is the doorway into the now. There is an ancient story, told for thousands of years, of a great spiritual teacher whose students asked him for the ultimate secret to enlightenment and peace. They expected a complex answer, a hidden doctrine, a demanding practice that would take years to master. But the teacher, the Buddha, simply said this: when you breathe in, just know that you are breathing in, and when you breathe out, just know that you are breathing out. If the breath is long, know that the breath is long. If the breath is short, Know that the breath is short. That is the foundation. That is the entire practice in its most essential form. The profound secret was simply to pay attention to what was already happening, to come home to the most basic, fundamental truth of your own existence. So, right now, you are breathing in, you are breathing out. By knowing this, by feeling this, you have arrived. You are doing it perfectly. There is nothing else you need to accomplish in this moment. There is nowhere else you need to be. You are home. Now, let's add a gentle intention to this rhythm. With every inhalation, imagine you are breathing in calm. Imagine the air is filled with a sense of peace, a quality of quiet stillness. As you breathe in, feel that peace entering your body, filling your lungs, and spreading out from your core to every single cell. You are receiving tranquility. You are accepting rest. And with every exhalation, let there be a release. Imagine that the warm air leaving your body is carrying with it the tensions and anxieties of the day, the tightness in your shoulders, the clenching in your jaw, the unspoken worries, the lingering frustrations. Let them all dissolve into the out-breath. Let them all be carried away. You don't have to push them out. You simply allow them to leave. The exhale is a sigh of relief, a quiet surrender. Inhale calm, exhale tension, inhale peace, exhale worry, inhale stillness, exhale the noise of the day. Each breath makes you a little lighter. Each breath creates a little more space within you, a quiet, open, peaceful space. And in this space, rest can begin to emerge. Continue to rest your awareness here, in this safe harbor of the breath, letting the rhythm be whatever it is. Slow or fast, deep or shallow, it doesn't matter. You are simply the observer, the witness, resting in the awareness of this constant gentle motion. If your mind drifts 100 times, you simply return 100 times, gently, patiently, compassionately. This is the practice. There is nothing to achieve. There is only this process of returning to the anchor, returning home. As you continue to rest with this gentle rhythm, this anchor of the breath, you may begin to notice the home that this breath nourishes, the physical vessel that it sustains. Let your awareness, carried on the soft current of your breath, now begin to expand, begin to travel from the breath itself to the body that breathes. As you rest here, anchored by the simple, steady rhythm of your breathing, allow your awareness to begin a gentle journey. Let it be carried on the soft current of your breath, drifting downwards, like a single soft feather floating through the quiet air. Let this feather of awareness travel all the way down through your body, past your chest, past your belly, down through your legs, until it comes to rest at the very bottom, at your feet. For now, bring your entire attention to your feet, and even more specifically, to your toes. Without any need to move them or wiggle them, simply see if you can feel them. Can you feel the presence of your big toe? Can you sense the space between each toe? Perhaps you can feel a sensation of warmth or coolness or a slight tingling. You may feel the light pressure of a blanket resting upon them. Whatever you feel, or even if you feel very little at all, is perfectly fine. There is no goal to achieve here. We are simply arriving, simply noticing. We are bringing a kind, gentle attention to a part of the body that works so hard for us all day, and now, finally, has permission to rest. Take a slow breath in, and as you breathe out, imagine that warm, soft exhale traveling all the way down your body and flowing into your toes, giving them a silent message. You can release now. You can soften from your toes Allow your awareness to expand, like water slowly spreading, to include the soles of your feet. Notice the arches, the heels. Feel the points where your heels make contact with the surface beneath you. Feel their weight, their solidity. There is a whole world of sensation here, if you just listen quietly. The texture of fabric, the subtle pressure, the temperature. Breathe into this awareness, and with the out-breath, offer the soles of your feet the gift of release. Let them let go of the memory of walking, of standing, of carrying you through the world. Their work for today is done. Now, let your awareness flow over the tops of your feet and into your ankles. Feel the complex structure of the ankle joint and give it permission to be loose and free. With each exhalation, imagine any remaining tension just melting away, leaving your feet feeling heavy, warm, and deeply relaxed. They are at peace. And now, let the feather of your awareness drift slowly upward into your lower legs. Feel your calf muscles, noticing where they press against the bed. Feel the strength in your shin bones. So often we hold unconscious tension in our legs. See if you can find any here. And if you do, you don't need to fight it. Simply acknowledge its presence with kindness. And then, with your next out-breath, invite it to soften. Imagine the muscles becoming loose, soft, and heavy. Then, allow your attention to arrive at your knees. The front of the knees, the back of the knees. Send a breath of gratitude to these joints that bend and flex for you all day. Let them be still now. Let them be at rest. And the journey continues upward into the large, strong muscles of your thighs. Feel their length, their volume, their immense weight. These are some of the most powerful muscles in your body. And now, they can surrender that power completely. Feel them releasing, becoming heavy and soft, sinking down into the support that lies beneath you. You are being held. The earth, the bed, they are holding you. You do not need to hold yourself up. Let your legs, from your hips all the way to the tips of your toes, feel wonderfully heavy, wonderfully still. Let them be completely absorbed by a feeling of deep, profound rest. Imagine your body is like a great, ancient tree, and this feeling of weight, of your body sinking downwards, is like a vast and intricate root system. These roots are spreading deep into the rich, dark earth, holding you firm, making you stable and secure. You are grounded, anchored. Here, in the solid reality of your physical body, you are safe. Now, bring your awareness to the base of your spine and to your hips and pelvis. Feel this heavy, solid center of your body. Feel how it sinks into the mattress. Let go of any clenching here. Let the entire area soften and spread out, releasing its grip. You are fully and completely supported. Allow the journey of awareness to continue, flowing up into your lower back. This is an area where so many of us hold stress and strain. Be especially gentle here. Don't ask for anything. Just notice what is present. Breathe into any sensations you find. And with a long, slow out breath, just allow the muscles to release as much as they are willing to. Imagine them letting go, layer by layer, melting into softness. Let your attention now drift around to your abdomen, the soft, vulnerable front of your body. Let your belly rise and fall with your breath, like the gentle swell of a calm ocean. Let go of any holding here, any need to keep your stomach tight. Let it be soft. Let it be free. Within this space, your body is performing countless miracles of digestion and restoration, all without any conscious effort from you. Trust this innate wisdom. Surrender to it. From your belly, let your awareness rise into your chest. Feel the gentle, rhythmic movement of your breathing here, the expansion of your rib cage as you inhale, and the gentle falling as you exhale. Become aware of your heart, beating steadily in its center, a strong, faithful rhythm. It does not need your help. It beats with a wisdom all its own. Send a feeling of gratitude and kindness to your heart. Let the entire chest cavity feel open, spacious, and calm. Now, let your attention move up to your shoulders. Notice your shoulders. Are they raised slightly towards your ears? Are they rounded forward, still carrying the posture of the day? This is where we so often carry our burdens, our responsibilities, our unspoken anxieties. The weight of the world seems to land right here. Do not judge this tension. Do not be frustrated by it. Simply greet it as an old friend. Ah, there you are. Tension. I see you. And now, take a very slow, deep breath in. And as you exhale, send that warm, soft breath directly into your shoulders. Imagine the breath is a wave of warmth, a flowing, liquid light, melting away all the hardness, all the knots. With your next exhale, give your shoulders full and complete permission to drop, to release their heavy load, to sink down, away from your ears. Let them feel heavy and wide, melting into the surface beneath you. Let this feeling of release flow from your shoulders, down through your arms, down through your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, and into your hands. Bring your full attention to your hands. Notice your palms. Are they open and soft, or are they slightly curled? Let them be open. Feel the intricate network of bones and muscles. Feel your fingers, the thumbs, the index fingers, the middle fingers, the ring fingers, and the little fingers. Feel the space between each finger. Your hands have done so much today. They have typed and held and worked and gestured. Now, their work is done. With a gentle out-breath, let them release completely. Let them become limp, heavy, and still. Just pure, relaxed weight. Now, bring your awareness to your neck, to the column that supports your head. Let the muscles on the back of your neck lengthen and soften. Let the front of your throat feel open and relaxed. Then, allow your attention to travel up into your face, a place of so much subtle tension. Start with your jaw. Notice if your teeth are clenched together. Gently allow them to part. Let your tongue rest softly in your mouth. Let your lips be soft. Let go of the need to hold any particular expression. Now, feel your cheeks and let them soften. Feel the tiny, delicate muscles around your eyes. Let them release their grip. Let your eyelids rest gently, without any pressure. And finally, bring your awareness to your forehead. Imagine your forehead as a wide, smooth, open plane. If there are any furrows of worry or concentration, imagine your out-breath gently smoothing them away, leaving behind a surface of calm, clear peace. Let your entire scalp relax. And finally, bring your awareness to the very top of your head, the crown. And now, for a moment, expand your awareness to include your entire body at once. Feel your whole body, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head, as a single, unified field of sensation, a landscape of stillness. Feel the collective weight of your body, its heaviness, its warmth, its simple, physical presence. The winds of thought may still be blowing, the leaves of the mind may rustle, but here, in the trunk and roots of the tree, there is a deep and profound stability. You are here, you are grounded, you are at peace in your physical form. And as your body rests here, held and secure, let your sense of hearing begin to open. Having felt the deep stillness within, we now begin to listen to the stillness that surrounds us, to the quiet, gentle symphony of the night. Resting here, grounded in the quiet weight of your body, allow your awareness to shift, Let the sense of hearing, which may have been in the background, now come gently to the forefront. You don't need to search for sounds. You don't need to reach out with your ears. Instead, simply open your awareness and allow the sounds of the night to come to you. Let your eardrums become like the surface of a perfectly still lake, receiving whatever ripples of sound arrive, without preference, without judgment. There may be many sounds, or there may be very few. The hum of the house, a distant car, the sound of your own breathing. Just for a moment, let them all be there, a tapestry of the present moment. And now, from this broad awareness, let your attention gently settle upon a single sound. Let it be the sound that is most present, most constant. Perhaps it is the gentle, persistent rhythm of falling rain. If so, let this sound become your focus. Let it be your new anchor. Your entire world, for a little while, is this symphony of a single sound. Let all other sounds fade into the periphery. Let all thoughts, all feelings, recede into the background. There is only this sound, and your awareness of it. Dive into this sound. Immerse yourself in it. Listen to it, not just with your ears, but with your whole body. Feel its vibration. Let it wash over you and through you. Let us explore this sound together with a gentle curiosity. First, notice its rhythm. Is the rain falling in a steady, hypnotic beat, a soft drumming on the roof and the world outside? Or does it come in waves, rising to a crescendo and then softening into a hush, like the world is breathing? There is no need to answer with words. Just feel the rhythm. Let it become a kind of lullaby, a pulse for you to rest within. Now, bring your awareness to the texture of the sound. Can you hear the many layers within it? It is not just one sound, but a million tiny events happening at once. Perhaps you can distinguish the soft patter of drops landing on leaves, a gentle, organic sound. Maybe you can hear the sharper, clearer tap of rain against a window pane. Perhaps you hear the sound of it gathering, forming small streams, a flowing, gurgling sound. Listen to how these different textures weave together to create a single, complex fabric of sound. It is rich and deep and ever-changing. Now, listen for the different pitches within the rain. There is likely a low, steady hum, a bass note that is the collective sound of all the drops together. This is the foundation of the sound, a deep, resonant drone. But within that, can you hear higher notes? The clearer, almost musical tones of individual, larger drops as they land. The sound is a chord, a harmony of many different notes playing at once. Let your mind be fascinated by this complexity. Let it be absorbed in the simple act of discerning these different layers of tone and pitch. And now, let us listen for something even more subtle. Let us listen for the silence. Can you hear the space that holds the rain, the quiet canvas upon which this sound is painted? Sound and silence are not opposites. They arise together. The sound of each drop is defined by the tiny moment of silence that came before it and the one that will come after. Listen for the gaps, the pauses, the stillness that is underneath, and in between, all the sound. This is a deeper kind of listening. It is listening not just to the notes, but to the space between the notes, where the real music often resides. The rain does not erase the silence of the night. It reveals it. It decorates it. This sound, in all its rich complexity, is your new anchor. Your mind, in its habit, will wander away. It will begin to create stories about the sound. It might think, "This is so peaceful," or "I hope it stops by morning." Or it might be reminded of another time, another rainy night. These are just thoughts. They are clouds passing in front of the moon. When you notice that your mind has been carried away by a story, by a label, or a judgment, there is no need for frustration. The practice is simple and kind. Acknowledge the thought, and then gently, lovingly, guide your awareness back to the raw sensation of the sound itself. Just the sound, not your opinion about it, not your memory of it, just this patter, this rhythm, this hum, right here, right now. Just as you used the physical sensation of the breath to ground you, you can now use the physical sensation of this sound. It is a second anchor, just as reliable, just as present. You can rest your attention here for as long as you wish. There is an old Zen story about a master who would ask his students a question. He would say, "We all know the sound of two hands clapping, but what is the sound of one hand?" This was not a riddle with a clever answer. It was an invitation to stop thinking and to start listening on a much deeper level. It was a pointer towards the silence from which all sounds are born, a pointer to the pure awareness that hears, an awareness that is itself silent. Tonight, as you rest here, listening to the rain, you are exploring this very same mystery. You are listening beyond the surface label of rain. You are listening with your whole being. This kind of deep, receptive listening is a profound form of meditation. It has a cleansing effect on the mind. When your awareness is fully immersed in the simple, complex reality of this sound, it has less energy for its usual patterns of worry and planning. The internal chatter, the voice in the head that narrates and judges everything, begins to quiet down. It becomes quiet, not because you have fought it or suppressed it, but because its attention has been gently and lovingly placed elsewhere. It has been given a task that is both simple and endlessly fascinating: just to listen. This listening is a bath for a tired mind. It washes away the sticky residue of the day's concerns. It rinses away the dust of anxiety. It leaves you feeling clearer, calmer, and more spacious. There is only the sound of the rain, and you, the silent listener. The boundary between the listener and the sound may even begin to soften. There is no you over here and rain over there. There is just listening, a unified field of sound and awareness. So continue to rest here. Let the symphony of the rain be your companion. Let it fill the space that your thoughts used to occupy. Each drop is a note of peace. Each wave of sound is a wave of tranquility, washing over you. There is nothing for you to do, nothing to figure out. Your only task is to remain open, to receive this gift of sound, to let it soothe you, to let it ground you, to let it guide you deeper and deeper into a state of rest. Having practiced listening to the sounds of the world outside of you with a calm, non-judgmental awareness, we can now begin to use this very same skill, this same gentle attention, to face the sounds that arise from within. We have learned to sit on the shore and listen to the rain. Now, we will learn to sit on the riverbank and watch the stream of our own thoughts flow by, with the very same peace, with the very same acceptance. Having learned to rest in the body and to listen with openness to the world outside, we now turn this gentle awareness inward. We turn it towards the stream of the mind itself. Imagine, for a moment, that your consciousness, your mind, is like a wide, slow-moving river. It has been flowing since the day you were born, and it will continue to flow. It is not your enemy. It is not a problem to be solved. It is simply a force of nature, like a river. And on the surface of this river, all manner of things float by. These are your thoughts. See them now. Some thoughts are like beautiful, brightly colored autumn leaves, drifting gracefully on the current. These might be happy memories, pleasant daydreams or thoughts of people you love. Others are like old, gnarled branches, heavy and dark. These might be your worries, your fears, your anxieties, your self-criticisms. And still others are like small, smooth, neutral pebbles, just tumbling along without much significance. Fragments of a song, an image from a film, a random word. The river carries them all, without preference. The beautiful leaf and the gnarled branch are carried by the same current. For most of our lives, we do not know we are on the riverbank. We are in the river. The moment a particularly interesting leaf floats by, we jump into the water to chase it, to hold it, to possess it. The moment a dark branch appears, a worry about tomorrow, we leap in to fight it, to wrestle with it, to try and push it away. And in either case, we are no longer at rest. We are caught in the current, being tossed and turned, carried far away from the peace of the present moment. One minute you are lying here, aware of your breathing, and the next, you are waist deep in the river, struggling with a thought about a mistake you made last week, feeling all the embarrassment and regret as if it were happening right now. You have been carried downstream. Tonight, our practice is different. Tonight, we are not getting into the river. Our task is simply to find a comfortable, mossy spot on the riverbank, to sit down and to watch the river flow. Your identity is not the river, nor is it the things floating in it. You are the silent, compassionate witness on the bank. From this peaceful vantage point, you can watch the thoughts arise, float through your awareness for a time, and then, inevitably, drift on by and disappear downstream. You do not need to do anything about them. A pleasant thought appears, a happy memory. Notice it. You can even smile at it, as you would at a pretty leaf. Then, let it go. Let it continue on its journey. You do not need to cling to it. Another one will come. A difficult thought appears, a worry, a fear. You see this dark branch floating towards you. Your only job is to watch it. You do not need to jump in. You do not need to brace for impact. You simply note its presence. Ah, there is worry. And you watch as the current carries it along through your field of awareness, and eventually, it too will float on by. This is a profound shift in your relationship with your mind. You are no longer a victim of your thoughts, constantly being swept away by them. You are the calm, stable observer. The riverbank you are sitting on is your anchor. The riverbank is the feeling of your breath moving in and out. It is the sound of the rain falling steadily outside. It is the feeling of the weight of your body, heavy and relaxed on the bed. These are your points of stability. These are your home ground. The mind's habit of jumping into the river is very strong. It will happen again and again. You will be sitting peacefully on the bank, and without even noticing, you will be in the water, caught up in a long chain of anxious thoughts. The moment you realize this, the moment you become aware, oh, I'm lost in thought again, that is a moment of pure grace. That is a moment of mindfulness. In that moment of seeing that you are lost, you are already found. And what do you do when you find yourself in the water? You do not scold yourself. You do not despair. That would be like beating the water in frustration, which only creates more turbulence. The response is much simpler and infinitely kinder. You gently, without any fuss, guide yourself back to the riverbank. You bring your attention back to one of your anchors. You take one conscious breath, feeling the air come in and feeling the air go out. Or you listen, truly listen, for just a few seconds to the sound of the rain. Or you feel the solid weight of your hand resting on the bed. That is it. You have climbed back onto the bank. You take your seat again, and you resume your gentle, patient watching of the river. This is the entire practice, wandering away, noticing, and gently returning, 1,000 times, if necessary. Each return is a victory of peace over habit. Each return is an act of profound compassion for yourself. There is a beautiful Zen story that illuminates this relationship with our thoughts. Imagine you are in a small rowboat, drifting on a vast, misty lake at dawn. All is calm and silent. Suddenly, with a jolt, another boat bumps into yours. Instantly, a flash of irritation, of anger, arises in you. Who is this careless person? How could they be so thoughtless? You turn, ready to shout at the pilot of the other boat. But as you turn, you see that the other boat is empty. It must have broken free from its moorings on the shore and simply drifted across the lake, carried by the wind and the current, until it bumped into you. In that instant of seeing the boat is empty, what happens to your anger? It vanishes. It evaporates. How can you be angry at an empty boat? It had no intention. It meant no harm. It was just an event. Our thoughts, the story suggests, are like that empty boat. They drift into our awareness, seemingly from nowhere. A thought of anxiety, a thought of jealousy, a memory of an old hurt. They bump into us. Our habitual reaction is to believe there is a pilot in that boat. We believe the thought is personal, that it is aimed at us, that it means something terrible about us. And so we get angry at it. We get scared of it. We wrestle with it. We create a whole story around the empty boat. But the wisdom of this practice is to learn to see our thoughts for what they are. They are, for the most part, empty boats. They are impersonal mental events arising from the vast subconscious mind, carried by the currents of old conditioning and habit. They have no malicious pilot. They are not you. So, as you sit on your riverbank and a difficult thought, a dark branch, floats into view, see if you can meet it with this wisdom. See it as an empty boat bumping into you. Notice the initial jolt, the initial reaction of fear or irritation. But then, look closer. See that there is no one steering it. It is just an impersonal event. Ah, you can say to yourself, an empty boat. And with that recognition, you can let it go. You don't have to get into a fight with an empty boat. You can simply notice it and allow it to drift on by. This changes everything. It takes the personal sting out of even the most difficult thoughts. It allows you to remain on the peaceful bank, watching with a calm and perhaps even amused detachment. As you continue this practice of sitting on the riverbank, watching these empty boats drift by, you may begin to notice something truly profound. You begin to see clearly that the boat itself, the thought, is rarely the real problem. The bump is just a bump, a fleeting event. The real trouble, the real suffering, the disturbance to your peace, almost always comes from your reaction to it. It comes from the moment you decide there is a pilot in the boat. It comes from the story you create about the bump. It comes from the choice, often unconscious, to leap from the safety of the riverbank into the turbulent water to fight with it. This distinction, the vital difference between the thought itself and our reaction to the thought, is one of the most powerful and liberating insights we can ever have. It is the key to understanding how we so often create our own distress, and more importantly, it is the secret to how we can finally begin to let it go. As you rest here on the riverbank of your awareness, watching the flow of your mind, you begin to see with a new clarity. You see the thoughts, the memories, the worries as they drift by, and you notice the profound difference between the thoughts themselves and the turmoil they can sometimes create within you. There is a simple and deeply wise teaching from the Buddhist tradition that speaks directly to this discovery. It is the teaching of the two arrows. The Buddha said that in this life, from time to time, every single one of us will be struck by an arrow. This is unavoidable. It is a condition of being alive. This first arrow might be a moment of physical pain, like a headache or an injury. It might be the emotional pain of an unkind word spoken to you, or a moment of failure, or a wave of disappointment when things do not go as you had hoped. It could be the sharp sting of loneliness, or the sorrow of a loss. This first arrow hurts. It is the direct, unfabricated, unavoidable pain that is simply a part of the human experience. No one is exempt from these first arrows. Think of the day that has just passed. Perhaps you can recall a moment that was a first arrow, a stressful email that arrived, a difficult conversation, a moment where you felt overlooked or misunderstood. Perhaps you made a small mistake and felt a flush of embarrassment. Maybe you saw something that reminded you of a past loss and felt a pang of grief. These were all first arrows. They were real events, producing real, albeit often fleeting, sensations of pain or discomfort. They happened. They were sharp, and then they were over. The arrow struck, and the immediate impact was felt. This is the raw data of life. But the Buddha said that all too often, we make a crucial error. Immediately after being struck by the first arrow, we reach back and we shoot ourselves with a second arrow. What is this second arrow? The second arrow is our reaction to the first. The second arrow is the story we tell ourselves about the pain. It is the judgment, the blame, the fear, the anger, the shame, and the endless rumination that we layer on top of the original event. The second arrow is the suffering we create for ourselves. The first arrow is pain. The second arrow is suffering. And while the first is often unavoidable, the second is, with practice, optional. Let's make this clear. Imagine the first arrow was a colleague criticizing your work today. The initial sting of the words, that flash of hurt or surprise, that was the first arrow. It was unpleasant, but it was a momentary event. The second arrow is the internal monologue that you play on a loop for the rest of the evening. It's the voice that says, I am so bad at my job. Everyone must think I am incompetent. I'm surely going to be fired. How could I have been so foolish? You replay the conversation again and again, each time feeling the shame, the anxiety, the fear, as if it were happening for the first time. This prolonged torment, this mental reenactment, this is the second arrow. It hurts far more and for far longer than the first. And it is entirely self-inflicted. Or perhaps the first arrow was a simple moment of forgetfulness. You forgot to make an important phone call. The initial pang of oops, the brief annoyance with yourself. That was the first arrow. The second arrow is the inner critic that seizes this opportunity to launch a full-scale attack. You are so useless. You can't do anything right. You are lazy and irresponsible. You always mess things up. This voice of harsh self-judgment, which can echo for hours, is a second arrow, dipped in the poison of shame. The quiet of the night is often the time when we become our own worst archers. The distractions of the world fall away, and the mind is left alone with its quiver full of second arrows. Lying here, in the dark, we do a peculiar thing. We go back and collect all the first arrows of the day. We pick up the arrow of that awkward conversation, the arrow of that financial worry, the arrow of that lonely moment. We examine them one by one, and then, meticulously. We shoot ourselves with a second, third, and fourth arrow for each one. We relive the argument, but this time we think of all the clever things we should have said. We re-feel the embarrassment of a mistake, cringing in the dark. We take a vague worry about the future, and we build it into a full-blown catastrophe, rehearsing every possible negative outcome. We turn single, past moments of pain into long, epic films of suffering, with ourselves as the tragic hero. And then we lie here and wonder why sleep will not come. We wonder why peace feels so impossibly far away. It is because our own mind is at war with itself, firing these painful arrows, keeping us in a state of high alert and distress. But here is the good news. Here is the path to peace. The path is not to build an impenetrable shield that can stop all of life's first arrows. That is an impossible fantasy. The path is to learn to recognize the second arrow. The path is to learn not to shoot it. And the very first step in this practice is simply to see the difference. It is to become a wise and gentle observer of your own mind, able to distinguish between the initial event and your own story about it. So, as you continue to rest here on the riverbank and a difficult thought or memory arises, apply this gentle wisdom. Let it be a quiet, internal investigation. Ask yourself, with genuine curiosity, what was the first arrow here? Acknowledge the real, initial pain. You can say to yourself, yes, that comment from my friend did hurt. That was a moment of pain. Honor that reality. And then ask the second, crucial question. And what is the second arrow? What story am I adding to this? What judgment am I layering on top of this initial hurt? What am I telling myself about myself, or about the other person, or about the world? And then listen. The answer might be, there it is. The story that I am not worthy of good friends. The story that I will end up alone. The judgment that I am too sensitive. That story, that judgment, that is the second arrow. Simply seeing it, simply naming it as the second arrow is an act of profound liberation. You rob it of its power. You see that it is not an absolute truth. It is a mental habit. It is a story. It is another empty boat drifting by. And when you see it clearly, you have a choice. You can choose not to believe the story. You can choose to let that second arrow fall from your fingers before you even have a chance to fire it. Or, if it has already been fired and you feel its sting, you can, with great compassion for yourself, decide to gently pull it out. How do you pull it out? You pull it out by letting go of the story. You pull it out by refusing to fuel the fire of rumination. You pull it out by returning your awareness to the simple, non-judgmental reality of the present moment. You return to your anchor. You feel the sting of the second arrow of self-criticism. You see it for what it is, a story, not a fact, and you gently, firmly guide your awareness back to the physical sensation of your breath, back to the sound of the falling rain. You treat your own pain with the kindness of awareness, not with the further violence of judgment. This practice of recognizing and not firing the second arrow is an act of supreme self-kindness. It is about refusing to add unnecessary, self-created suffering to the unavoidable pains of a rich and full life. As we become more skilled at seeing this pattern, a natural desire begins to arise from deep within us. It is a desire not just to stop adding more weight to our load, but to consciously, deliberately, set down the heavy burdens we are already carrying from the day that has now passed. Understanding how we create so much of our own suffering with these second arrows leads us to the clear and simple wish to finally lay these weapons down. and to tenderly begin to empty our hearts of the day's many battles. This practice of seeing the second arrow, of refusing to add suffering to pain, is an act of profound self-love. It is a declaration that you are no longer willing to be at war with yourself. And as this understanding deepens, a natural desire arises. It is the desire not just to stop adding new burdens, but to consciously set down the heavy load that you have carried all through the day. There is a famous Zen story that speaks to this very moment. A highly educated and respected professor, a man known for his vast knowledge and sharp intellect, came to visit an old Zen master. He wanted to learn the secrets of Zen, the nature of enlightenment. The professor arrived and immediately began to speak, filling the small, quiet room with his own theories, his own complex ideas, his speculations about philosophy and the universe. He talked on and on, demonstrating his learning. The old master listened patiently, nodding quietly. After some time, the master said, "Let us have some tea." He took a simple porcelain cup and placed it in front of the professor. He then began to pour the hot, fragrant tea into the cup. He filled it to the brim, and then he kept pouring. The tea overflowed, spilling out onto the saucer and then onto the wooden table, forming a dark, steaming puddle. The professor, shocked and alarmed, cried out, "Stop! It is full. No more will go in." The old master stopped pouring, looked calmly at the professor, and said, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup? Tonight, as you lie here, you are much like that professor's cup. Your mind, your heart, your entire being is full. It is full of the day that has just passed. It is full of the residue of every conversation you had, every task you performed, every email you read. It is full of the triumphs and the failures, the moments of connection and the moments of frustration. It is overflowing with the many roles you played, the different masks you wore, and the swirl of emotions that accompanied them all. This fullness, this collection of the day's debris, is like murky, cloudy water, and as long as your cup is full of this water, there is no room for anything new to enter. There is no space for the clear, pure, healing waters of deep sleep and profound rest. To receive the gift of stillness, you must first be willing to empty your cup. So, tonight, right now, let us perform a gentle, sacred ritual together. Let us consciously and with great kindness begin to pour out the contents of the day. Let us begin with the roles you have carried. Throughout the day, you are not just one person, you are many. First, if you worked or studied today, bring to mind the role of employee, or student, or boss. Picture it like a costume you are wearing. See its responsibilities, its pressures, its deadlines, its expectations. Feel the weight of this costume. Now, in your imagination, thank this role for its service. It helped you navigate the day. And then, very gently, take off that costume, fold it neatly, and place it down outside the door of this room. For tonight, you are not your job. You are not your title. That role can wait outside until morning. Now, bring to mind the role of parent, or child, or sibling. The role you play within your family. See its unique joys and its unique challenges, the acts of caring, the worries, the history. Feel the love and the weight of these connections. Thank this role for all that it is, and then, gently, place this costume down as well. For tonight, you do not need to care for anyone else or answer to anyone else. You are relieved of that duty. Your only duty now is to your own rest. Bring to mind the role of friend, neighbor, partner. See the web of social connections, the listening, the sharing, the planning. Thank this part of you. And then, with a deep sense of release, set it down. All the stories, all the dramas, all the obligations, let them all rest outside the door. One by one, set down every role you have played until there are none left. For tonight, you do not have to be anyone to anybody. You are simply you. Next, let us empty the cup of the day's events. Bring to mind a moment today when you felt successful, a task you completed well, a compliment you received, a moment of pride. Feel the pleasant warmth of that memory. Appreciate it for what it was, a fleeting moment of satisfaction. And now, let it go. Picture it as a smooth, shiny stone in your hand. Open your hand and let the stone drop gently to the floor. Clinging to our successes can be just as agitating to the mind as clinging to our failures. For tonight, you do not need to be a success. Now, bring to mind a moment from today that you would label a failure, a mistake you made, an awkward interaction, a moment of frustration or embarrassment. See it clearly, but without the sting of the second arrow. See it simply as an event that happened, a gnarled branch that floated by on the river. Acknowledge it, and then, with a long, slow exhalation, let it go completely. Place that gnarled branch down on the floor, right next to the shiny stone of your success. They are both just memories now, equal in their powerlessness over this present moment. For tonight, you do not need to be a failure. Continue this process. Let go of the conversations you had. Let go of the news you read. Let go of the journey you made. Let go of the tasks you finished. And let go of the tasks on your to-do list that remain undone. They do not belong here. This space, this time, is for rest, not for accounting. With every exhale, imagine you are pouring more of this cloudy water out of your cup. Finally, let us empty the cup of the day's emotional residue. Emotions often linger long after the events that caused them are over. If there was any anger or frustration you felt today, see it now. Not to relive it, but simply to acknowledge its presence. Perhaps it feels like a hot, red energy in your chest or stomach. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, imagine that fiery energy flowing out of you with the breath, dissolving into the vast, cool space of the room. For tonight, you do not need to be angry. If there was any anxiety or fear, see it as a frantic, buzzing energy, a vibration of worry. Breathe into it, and with your exhale, let that buzzing energy unwind and dissipate, like the sound of a bell fading into silence. For tonight, you do not need to be afraid. If there was any sadness or disappointment, perhaps it feels like a heavy, blue weight in your heart. Acknowledge its presence with kindness. It is okay that it was there. And now, imagine your exhale gently lifting that weight, making it lighter and lighter until it floats away. For tonight, you do not need to be sad. Even let go of the lingering excitement or joy if it feels agitating. The goal here is not happiness, but peace. The goal is a deep, neutral stillness. And now, look into your cup. It has been emptied of the roles, the events, the emotions. The murky water has been poured out. What is left? What remains is a quiet, clean, beautiful emptiness, a spaciousness, a stillness. Who are you in this moment, without your roles, without your history from today, without your emotional baggage? You are simply being. You are pure, restful awareness. You are the clean, empty cup, ready and open, ready to be filled, not with more thoughts or worries, but with the profound tranquility of deep rest. rest in this beautiful emptiness, this quiet stillness, this profound sense of relief. The cup has been emptied of the past. It is clean, it is clear, but often, just as we begin to enjoy this clarity, the mind reveals one more deep-seated habit. It immediately tries to fill the empty cup again, not with yesterday's residue, but with the projected anxieties of tomorrow. Having let go of the burdens of the day that is now done, we must now turn our gentle awareness to the unwritten page of the day to come and release our timeless urge to control it. Resting here in the clean, quiet space you have created, the cup of your mind emptied of the day's residue, you may notice a subtle shift. The mind, which abhors a vacuum, often begins a new project as soon as the old one is cleared away. Into this beautiful silence, it begins to project a new film. This film is called Tomorrow. It is a story full of challenges to be navigated, problems to be solved, conversations to be rehearsed, and potential dangers to be avoided. The to-do list begins to scroll behind your closed eyes. The difficult meeting you have scheduled begins to play out, with you trying out different lines, anticipating different responses. A financial concern appears, and the mind turns into a frantic accountant, moving numbers around, trying to find a solution in the dark. This is one of the mind's most persistent and seductive habits. The belief that it can solve all of tomorrow's problems tonight. It turns this sacred space of rest into a strategic command center, a war room, a boardroom for one. It operates under the illusion that if it just thinks hard enough, long enough, if it runs through every possible scenario, it can somehow tame the future, control the unknown, and make tomorrow safe. It believes it is helping you. It believes it is protecting you by preparing you for every eventuality. It is an act born of love, perhaps, but a deeply misguided one. Let us inquire together, with gentle honesty, has this nighttime strategizing ever truly served you? Has a complex problem at work ever been genuinely solved at 3 in the morning? Has a difficult relationship issue ever been healed by your frantic, lonely deliberations in the dark? Or does this endless mental activity simply do one thing with perfect efficiency? Does it steal the very resources you will need most to face tomorrow? Does it not rob you of your energy, your clarity, your patience, and your peace? It is like a gardener who, after planting his seeds, goes out every hour of the night with a lamp, digging them up to see if they have sprouted yet. All he accomplishes is disturbing their quiet work of germination, ensuring they will be weak and exhausted when the morning sun finally arrives. Your mind, when it worries at night, is this frantic gardener. It is digging up the seeds of your own potential, believing it is helping them grow. Tonight, let us adopt a different kind of wisdom. The wisdom to let things be. The wisdom to trust the process. The first step is to redefine this space. This bed is not a boardroom. It is not a courtroom where you must rehearse your arguments for tomorrow's case. It is not a workshop for fixing the future. This bed is a sanctuary. It is an altar dedicated to rest. It is a charging station for your body, your mind, and your soul. Its only purpose is to hold you, to support you, to cradle you in safety, and to allow the deep, restorative magic of rest to unfold on its own schedule. To engage in frantic planning here is to fundamentally misunderstand the purpose of this space and the purpose of this time. The work of the night is not thinking. The work of the night is healing. The work of the night is not controlling. The work of the night is surrender. Consider the wisdom of a farmer. Throughout the day, the farmer does his work. He prepares the soil, he plants the seeds, he removes the weeds, he ensures there is water. He does everything that is within his power to do. But when evening comes and the sun sets, the farmer's work in the field is done. He does not stay up all night, pacing his fields, shining a lamp on the ground and worrying. He does not yell at the sky, demanding that it rain the perfect amount. He does not try to command the sun not to shine too brightly. He knows, with a deep and grounded wisdom, that the weather is not in his control. His worrying will not change the path of the clouds. His anxiety will not alter the temperature. So what does he do? He goes inside his house. He eats his meal. He rests his tired body. He trusts. He trusts that he has done what he could do. He trusts the process of nature. And he trusts that he, the farmer, will have the strength and the wisdom to deal with whatever weather tomorrow brings when it actually arrives. Tonight, you are that farmer. You have toiled in the fields of your life today. You have done what you could do. Now is the time to go inside, to come home to yourself. The weather of tomorrow, the unexpected phone call, the shift in a colleague's mood, the sudden change of plans, the thousand small and large twists of fates, not yours to control from your bed tonight. Your frantic attempts to predict and manage it are as futile as the farmer trying to command the rain. The greatest act of wisdom you can perform right now is to release the illusion of control and to simply rest. The mind's anxiety about tomorrow comes from a deep and fundamental lack of trust in your future self. The tired, anxious version of you lying here now does not trust that the person who wakes up in the morning will be capable enough to handle what comes. It feels it must solve everything in advance, because it believes your future self will be incompetent. But let us challenge this belief. What if you were to extend a radical, unconditional trust to the person you will be tomorrow? What if you were to believe that the you who awakens after a night of deep, restorative sleep will be a different person, that they will be more creative, more resourceful, more patient, more resilient, and far more wise than the exhausted version of you that is trying to run the world from under a blanket? Picture that future self for a moment. See them waking up, their mind clear and calm. See them facing the day's challenges not with frantic anxiety, but with a quiet, steady strength that can only be born from true rest. The greatest, most practical, and most loving gift you can give to that future self is not a set of pre-solved problems. It is a full night of peace. So, make a pact with that person now. You can say to them, silently in your heart, I will do my job tonight, which is to rest, and I trust you to do your job tomorrow, which is to live. Trust them. They will know what to do. Tomorrow is an unwritten page in a book. You are lying here tonight with your pen poised above it, frantically trying to write the entire chapter before it has even begun. But you cannot. You do not yet know the characters who will appear on that page. You do not know the plot twists the day will hold. Your attempt to write it now will only fill the page with the scribbles of your fear. See if you can, with a deep sigh of relief, put the pen down, close the book, and simply rest in the quiet mystery of the story that is yet to come. With every exhalation, let go of one more plan, one more worry, one more strategy for tomorrow. Let them all dissolve. Give tomorrow back to itself. It does not belong to you yet. The only time that belongs to you is now. We have poured the murky water of the past from our cup, and we have now resisted the deep urge to fill it with the anxieties of the future. The cup, for perhaps the first time, is truly empty, truly open. Having released our tight grip on what has been and what might be, we are finally free to arrive completely in the only time that ever truly exists. We can now return with a new and profound appreciation to the power, the warmth, and the absolute safety of the present moment. Having emptied your cup of the cloudy waters of yesterday and resisted the urge to fill it with the anxieties of tomorrow, you arrive. You arrive, perhaps for the first time all day, completely and utterly in the present moment. This moment, the only time that is ever real, the only place where life is ever lived. And here, in the very center of this present moment, I invite you to imagine a fire. It is not a raging, destructive bonfire, but a steady, warm, and welcoming hearth fire. It is ancient and eternal. Listen closely. Perhaps you can even hear it now. The soft, gentle crackle and pop of perfectly seasoned wood, the quiet hiss and whisper of the flames as they dance. This fire is the very energy of now. It has always been burning here in the center of your being, though we are often too busy traveling, lost in the cold landscapes of the past or the misty territories of the future, to notice its warmth. Tonight, you have come home. You have finished your travels. Draw close to this fire. Feel its gentle, radiant heat. The cold winds of yesterday, filled with old regrets, unspoken words, and moments of pain, cannot touch you here. They may howl outside the walls of this present moment, but they have no power here. Their chilling effect cannot penetrate the warmth of this fire. Here, you are safe from the past, and the icy drafts of the future, filled with all the anxious what-ifs and the endless lists of problems to be solved. They cannot reach you here either. This fire, this simple, profound moment of now, is your ultimate shelter. It is your sanctuary. You have traveled so far in your mind tonight, but your search is over. You have arrived at the only place that is ever truly safe. Right here. And what is the fuel for this beautiful, steady fire? The fuel is your own simple, direct awareness. Every conscious breath you take is like placing another log on the hearth. As you feel the air enter your body and feel it leave, notice how the fire glows, just a little brighter, a little warmer. Your breath is the fuel of life, and it is the fuel of presence. Every sound you are hearing, received without judgment, is like kindling for the flames. As you listen to the sound of the world around you, perhaps the gentle rain, or the sound of this very fire itself, you are feeding the flames. You are adding to its steady, peaceful energy. And every sensation you feel in your body right now is more fuel. The feeling of the weight of the blanket upon you, the sensation of the pillow beneath your head, the gentle rhythmic beat of your own heart. By simply being here, feeling what you are feeling, hearing what you are hearing, and breathing as you are breathing, you are tending to this sacred fire. You are making it stronger, warmer, more radiant with every passing moment. There is an old story of a weary traveler who spent his entire life searching for a mythical land called paradise. He had heard from a young age that it was a place of eternal warmth and light, a place completely free from all worry, all strife, all pain. And so he set out. He crossed burning deserts, he climbed treacherous, snow-capped mountains, and he sailed across vast, stormy oceans, always driven by the belief that paradise was a destination on a map, a place he could one day find. Finally, as an old, tired man, his body broken and his hope nearly gone, he collapsed from exhaustion at the entrance to a simple, quiet village he had never seen before. A villager saw him and without a word, came and helped him to a seat in the shade of a large tree. They brought him a cup of cool, clean water and a simple piece of bread. As the traveler sat there, feeling the simple, direct warmth of the sun on his tired skin, listening to the sound of children laughing as they played nearby, and tasting the simple, profound goodness of the bread and water, a great realization washed over him like a wave. He understood, in a flash, that he had been wrong his entire life. Paradise was not a location to be found. It was not a destination to be reached. Paradise was a state of being to be inhabited. It was the ability to be fully present with what is. It was the feeling of warmth. It was the sound of life. It was the taste of nourishment. It was the simple act of receiving the gifts of the present moment. His lifelong, exhausting search was over, not because he had found a magical land, but because he had finally, truly arrived in the here and now. Like that traveler, you can end your search. Tonight, you do not need to journey to some future state of being perfectly rested or back to a past where things were better. Peace is not a destination. It is a presence, and it is right here. The warmth you seek is the warmth of this fire. The safety you crave is the safety of this moment. Now, see if you can feel the warmth of this inner fire beginning to spread throughout your entire body. Feel its gentle, radiant heat moving out from your center. Feel it spreading down into your belly, a soothing golden warmth that relaxes all the organs and releases any tension held deep within. Feel this warmth rising up into your chest, a soft, glowing light that surrounds your heart, melting away any remaining walls of defensiveness or fear. Your heart is safe here. It can be soft. Let the warmth spread across your collarbones and out to your shoulders, dissolving the last, stubborn vestiges of the day's burdens. Let this warm, honey-like light flow down through both of your arms, through your elbows and wrists, all the way to the tips of your fingers. Your arms and hands feel heavy, warm, and deeply peaceful. Now feel the warmth flowing downwards from your center, down through your hips and pelvis, releasing and softening. Let it pour down through your thighs, your knees, your calves, a river of liquid warmth, all the way down to the soles of your feet and the tips of your toes. Your legs, which carried you through the world today, are now completely at rest, bathed in this gentle, healing heat. Finally, let the warmth flow upwards from your heart, up through your neck and throat, releasing any unspoken words. Let it soften your jaw, your cheeks, the tiny muscles around your eyes. Let it smooth your forehead, creating a vast, peaceful space. Your entire body, from head to toe, is now glowing with a soft, warm light. It is the light of presence. It is the warmth of safety. It is the peace of the now. Rest here for as long as you wish, by your inner fire. There is nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing to figure out. You have arrived. You are home. Resting in this profound warmth, this deep sense of safety and well-being, a new quality can begin to arise all on its own. When we feel truly safe, when our own fundamental needs for shelter and warmth have been met, our heart naturally softens. It opens. From the glowing embers of this present moment fire, a gentle, tender quality of kindness can begin to emerge. This is the quality of compassion, and it always begins with the simple, warm wish for our own well-being. Resting here in the profound warmth and safety of the present moment, cradled by your inner fire, a new quality can begin to arise. When the body feels safe and the mind feels seen, the heart has a natural tendency to soften. From the glowing embers of this present moment fire, a gentle, tender quality of kindness can emerge. This is the quality of compassion, and its journey always begins at home, with the simple, warm wish for our own well-being. So often, what keeps us tossing and turning, stranded on the shores of sleep, is not the noise from the outside world, but the harsh, relentless voice of our own inner critic. We lie in the dark, and we put ourselves on trial for the perceived failures of the day. We prosecute ourselves for words we wish we hadn't said, or for actions we wish we had taken. We judge our feelings. We criticize our thoughts. We find our very being to be lacking. This constant, low-level state of self-judgment is like trying to sleep on a bed of sharp stones. True, deep rest is impossible when we are at war with ourselves. The antidote to this internal harshness is not more judgment or more willpower. The antidote is tenderness. The antidote is compassion. It is the practice of cultivating a gentle, unconditional friendliness towards yourself, exactly as you are in this moment, with all your imperfections and struggles. In the Buddhist tradition, there is a simple, beautiful, and profound practice for cultivating this quality. It is called metta, which translates as loving kindness. It is the simple act of offering heartfelt wishes of well-being, starting with the one person you have the most difficulty being kind to, yourself. It is a way of watering the seeds of kindness that already exist, dormant, within your own heart. The practice is simple. It involves the gentle, silent repetition of a few key phrases. You do not need to force a particular feeling to arise. The power is in the sincerity of the offering, the gentle intention behind the words. The words themselves are the seeds, and the repetition is the water. Let us begin this practice now. Bring your awareness to your heart space, the very center of your chest, where you felt the warmth of the fire glowing. Let this be the source from which these wishes emanate. As you breathe in, let the breath be a gathering of kind intention. And as you breathe out, let the breath carry the phrases of loving kindness into every cell of your being. Let's start with the first phrase. As you take your next gentle breath in, silently offer this wish to yourself. May I be safe. And as you breathe out, feel that wish for safety settling around you, like a warm, protective blanket. Breathing in, gather the intention. Breathing out, offer the wish. May I be safe. Safe from outer harm, and safe from inner harm, from the harshness of your own thoughts. Now, let us move to the second phrase. With your next inhalation, silently offer the wish. May I be healthy. And as you exhale, imagine that wish for health flowing through your entire body. A wish for your body to have the strength and vitality it needs to heal and restore itself as you sleep. Breathing in, the silent phrase, may I be healthy. Breathing out, letting the wish permeate your being. And the third phrase, as you breathe in, offer yourself this gentle wish. May I be peaceful. May I be free from inner turmoil. May I be free from mental agitation. And as you breathe out, feel a wave of peace, however subtle, wash over you. Breathing in, may I be peaceful. Breathing out, surrendering to that peace. And finally, a wish for this very moment. As you breathe in, the silent, heartfelt offering, may I sleep well. May I be able to let go. May I be able to surrender to the deep, restorative rest my body and mind so deeply need. Breathing out, giving yourself full permission to receive this gift. May I sleep well. Let us continue with this gentle rhythm. You can repeat the phrases in a cycle. Inhaling, may I be safe and healthy. Exhaling, feeling that wish land in your body. Inhaling, may I be peaceful and sleep well. Exhaling, letting go into that wish. If your mind wanders, that is okay. If the voice of the inner critic arises, telling you that you don't deserve these wishes, or that this is a silly exercise, see that voice for what it is. It is just another thought, another empty boat drifting by. Acknowledge it without judgment, and then gently, patiently, return to the phrases, return to the offering. The practice is not about being perfect. The practice is about being kind. Imagine that these phrases of loving kindness are like a soft, gentle, healing rain, and it is falling upon the dry, hardened ground of your own heart. For so long, perhaps, this ground has been baked hard by the harsh sun of self-judgment and criticism. But now, this gentle rain is beginning to fall. Each phrase is a single, soothing drop. May I be safe. A drop falls. May I be healthy. Another drop lands. Feel this compassionate rain washing away the dust of the day's anxieties. See it cleansing the stains of old mistakes and regrets. Imagine it seeping deep into the soil of your being, softening the hardness, allowing something new, something green and tender, to finally have a chance to grow. This is the rain of self-acceptance, the rain of forgiveness. You are allowing yourself to be worthy of your own kindness. There is a powerful ancient story that speaks to the heart of compassion. It is the story of a young woman named Kisa Gotami. Her beloved infant son had died, and she was lost in a grief so profound that she could not accept his death. She carried his small, lifeless body through her village, going from house to house, desperately begging for a medicine that could bring him back to life. Some people mocked her, others turned away in pity. Finally, she met a wise man who looked at her with kindness and said, "I cannot give you medicine for your child, but I know a physician who can. Go to the Buddha, but he will require a special ingredient. You must bring him a single mustard seed from a house where no one and no child, no parent, no spouse, no servanthus ever died." Filled with a desperate hope, Kisa Gotami went from door to door. At the first house, a kind woman said, "Of course I will give you a mustard seed." But when Kisa Gotami asked, "Has anyone in this house ever died?" the woman's face fell. "Oh, my dear," she said, "the living are few, but the dead are many. We lost our father just last year." So Kisa Gotami went to the next house, and the next, and the next. The story was the same everywhere. Every family was willing to give her the seed, but every family had been touched by death. One had lost a spouse, one had lost a child, one had lost a beloved grandparent. As the day wore on, a profound transformation began to happen within her. Her sharp, isolating personal grief began to soften and expand. She looked at the faces of the people she spoke to and saw her own sorrow reflected in their eyes. She realized that loss, pain, and suffering were not her unique burden. They were the universal, shared condition of all human beings. This realization awakened a deep compassion in her heart. She was no longer alone in her grief. She was a member of a vast family of beings who all experience suffering. This understanding was the medicine she sought. Your own pain, your own perceived flaws, your anxieties, your mistakes, they are not a sign that something is uniquely wrong with you. They are your mustard seed. They are the mark of your full membership in the human family. And seeing this, truly understanding that your struggles are part of a shared human experience, is the first step in treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would wish for anyone else. Just like every other person on this planet who struggles, who makes mistakes, and who longs for peace, you are worthy of rest. You are worthy of kindness. You do not need to be perfect to deserve it. It is your fundamental birthright. These phrases of loving kindness are not wishful thinking. They are a way of remembering and reclaiming this essential truth. As the gentle rain of compassion continues to fall, softening the ground of your own heart, you may begin to notice that the feeling of warmth and kindness has nowhere to go but outwards. When our own cup begins to fill with the clear water of self-acceptance, it naturally, and without any effort, begins to overflow. Having found and offered a measure of peace for ourselves, we can now begin to extend this heartfelt wish to all the other beings who share this night with us, creating a profound sense of connection that dissolves the very last traces of isolation. As the gentle rain of compassion for yourself continues to fall, softening the hard ground of your own heart, you may begin to notice a beautiful, natural phenomenon when your own cup, once empty, begins to fill with the clear, clean water of self-acceptance and kindness. It inevitably, and without any effort, begins to overflow. The warmth you have cultivated for yourself cannot be contained. It naturally begins to radiate outwards, seeking to touch the world around you. This is the nature of true compassion. It is boundless. Having found and offered a measure of peace for yourself, we can now gently begin to extend this heartfelt wish to all the other beings who share this night and this life with us. This is the practice that dissolves the painful illusion of isolation. Imagine the kindness in your heart is like a stone you have dropped into a perfectly still pond. The first ripple was small, a tight circle just for you. May I be safe. But now, that ripple begins to expand. It spreads outwards, touching everything in its path. Let us guide this ripple of compassion consciously. First, bring to mind a person for whom you have great love and affection. It could be a family member, a cherished friend, a partner, a child. Picture their face clearly in your mind's eye, as if they were here with you now. See the light in their eyes, the shape of their smile, and from the warmth of your own heart, extend to them the very same wishes you just offered yourself. Silently, offer them these phrases. May you be safe. May you be healthy. Feel the sincerity of this wish as it travels from your heart to theirs. May you be peaceful. May you find deep, restorative rest tonight. Hold their image in your mind for a moment, bathing them in this light of your loving kindness. Now, let the ripple expand further. Bring to mind someone for whom you feel neutral. This might be a person you see regularly, but do not know well. A cashier at a store you frequent, a co-worker in a different department, a neighbor you wave to, but have never spoken with. Someone who is neither a close friend nor a source of difficulty. Picture their face. You may not know their story, their struggles, or their joys. But you know one thing for certain. Just like you, they wish to be happy. Just like you, they wish to be free from suffering. Recognizing this shared fundamental desire, see if you can offer them the very same gift. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. You are acknowledging their humanity, connecting with them beyond the superficial roles you both play. And now, if it feels possible for you tonight, and only if it feels possible without straining, let the circle of compassion expand one more time. See if you can bring to mind someone with whom you have difficulty, a person who has caused you pain, or with whom you have a strained relationship. This can be challenging, so be very gentle with yourself. The goal is not to condone their actions or to force a feeling of forgiveness. The goal is simply to see, for just a moment, past the conflict to the shared humanity beneath, to recognize that their harmful actions, in all likelihood, arise from their own pain, their own confusion, their own suffering, from a place of strength and stability in your own heart, from the warmth of your own fire. See if you can offer them a simple, basic wish. Perhaps it is just, may you be free from the anger that causes you to suffer. May you find the peace that you seek. This is not for them. This is for you. It is an act of releasing the poison of resentment from your own heart. If this is too difficult, simply let it go and return your awareness to yourself or to those you love. The intention is what matters. Finally, let the ripple of compassion expand to its ultimate boundary, which is to say, no boundary at all. Let your awareness move out beyond the walls of your room, beyond your home, beyond your neighborhood and your city, until it encompasses the entire planet. Picture the Earth, a beautiful blue and white sphere, turning silently in the vast velvet darkness of space. And on the dark side of that sphere, in the great shadow of the night, imagine countless points of light. Each point of light is a person lying down to rest, just as you are. Under this same vast, star-dusted sky, there are millions upon millions of other beings, all seeking the same peace that you seek. In the next room, someone may be worrying about their health. In the next street, a parent may be sitting by the bed of a sick child. Across the country, someone is feeling the sharp ache of loneliness. On the other side of the world, someone is replaying a mistake from their day, feeling the flush of shame. Someone is afraid of the future. Someone is grieving the past. Their struggles are your struggles, in a different form. Your deepest wish for peace is their deepest wish for peace. You are not alone in your humanity. You are profoundly, deeply connected in this shared experience. And so, to all of them, to all of us together, as a single human family, let us offer this universal wish. As you breathe in, feel this sense of vast, shared connection. And as you breathe out, offer this prayer from your heart. May all beings be safe. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free from suffering. Let us rest with this for a moment. Breathing in, gathering the wish for the whole world. Breathing out, sending it forth on the waves of the night. May all beings everywhere be happy and at peace. Feel how this act of universal goodwill changes the quality of your own mind. It shifts the focus from the small, constricted self to a vast, open-hearted awareness. Your personal burden feels lighter when you recognize it as a shared burden. Your personal peace deepens when you generously wish it for all. The great Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh had a beautiful word to describe this profound, inescapable connection. Into being. He taught that nothing exists by itself, alone. Everything in the cosmos contains everything else. He would often hold up a single sheet of blank paper to illustrate this. He would say, if you look deeply into this paper, you can see the sunshine that nourished the tree from which it came. You can see the rain cloud that gave the tree water to drink. You can see the logger who cut the tree, and you can see the logger's parents who gave him life. You can see the wheat that made the logger's bread for lunch. You can see the soil, the miners who dug the ore for the saw, the entire web of life. In a single, simple sheet of paper, the entire universe is present. If you were to remove the sun, or the cloud, or the logger, the paper could not exist. In the very same way, you are with everyone and everything. The air you are breathing was once in the leaves of a distant forest. The water in your body was once part of a great ocean. Your thoughts and ideas have been shaped by countless people you have met and books you have read. Your joys and your sorrows are woven from the same universal thread as the joys and sorrows of all humanity. When you see this, when you truly feel this deep interconnection, the painful illusion of being a small, separate, isolated self begins to soften and dissolve. You are not a lonely island. You are a wave in a vast and beautiful ocean. Resting in this feeling of boundless connection, of interbeing, we see that we are not a solid, fixed entity, but rather a part of a vast, flowing, ever-changing process. Like a single wave in that great ocean, we arise, we take form for a time, and we fall back into the whole, always and forever, a part of the ocean itself. This powerful realization prepares us to accept one of life's most fundamental and liberating truths. The truth that everything, including our own thoughts, our feelings, and even our very sense of self, is in a constant, dynamic state of change. This is the profound wisdom of impermanence. Resting here, in this boundless sense of connection, feeling yourself not as a separate island, but as a wave in the great ocean of existence, you begin to perceive the nature of reality in a new way. You see that the very essence of this ocean is movement. It is a constant, flowing, ever-changing process. This brings us to one of the most profound and liberating truths taught in the Buddhist tradition. It is the wisdom of impermanence. The ancient word for this truth is anicca. It means transience, inconstancy, the simple, observable fact that nothing is permanent, nothing is fixed. Everything that comes into being must, eventually, pass away. Everything is in a state of flux. Imagine this truth as a great, invisible wind, the wind of change that is constantly blowing through the entire universe. It blows through galaxies and through mountains, turning stone to dust over millions of years. And it blows through your own life, through your own body, through your own mind. Right now, in this very moment, it touches everything. Nothing and no one is immune to its gentle, persistent, and powerful passage. Listen. Perhaps you can even hear this wind of change in the sounds around you now. The sound of the rain is never the same from one moment to the next. It rises and it falls. It changes in its rhythm and its texture. Each sound, you hear a creak in the house, a distant siren. The sound of your own breathing arises in your awareness, exists for a brief moment, and then vanishes, replaced by the next sound. You cannot hold on to a single sound. You cannot press pause. It is a river of sound, always flowing, always changing. This is anicca. Now, bring your attention to the feelings within your own body. You may feel a warmth in your feet, a slight pressure where your head meets the pillow, a feeling of heaviness in your legs. Choose one of these sensations and rest your awareness upon it with a gentle curiosity. Do not try to hold on to it. Simply observe it and notice that it, too, is not solid. It is not static. The feeling of warmth may shift, or fade, or intensify. A new sensation, perhaps an itch or a tingling, may appear and then dissolve. Even the most fundamental sensation, the feeling of your own breath, is a perfect demonstration of impermanence. The coolness of the inhale arises and is replaced by the warmth of the exhale. It is a constant dance of change, a rhythm of arising and passing away. This is anicca. And now, turn your awareness once more to the river of your mind. Observe your thoughts. A thought arises, seemingly from nowhere. Perhaps it is a picture, a word, a memory. It lingers in your awareness for a moment, and then, where does it go? It dissolves back into the vast, open space from which it came, replaced by the next thought, which will follow the exact same path. The same is true for your emotions. You may feel a flicker of anxiety, followed by a moment of peace, followed by a feeling of boredom. They are like clouds passing through the immense open sky of your awareness. They are not solid. They are not permanent fixtures. They are fleeting weather patterns. This, too, is anicca. For most of our lives, we live as if this were not true. We fight a constant, exhausting battle against the wind of change. When unpleasant things arise, we resist, we struggle, we push against them with all our might. We feel anxiety, and we think, I must get rid of this feeling. We feel physical pain, and we tense up around it, trying to force it away. We experience a sad memory, and we try to suppress it. But the wisdom of Anicca offers us a more peaceful way. It reveals that our struggle is ultimately unnecessary. That wave of anxiety you may be feeling right now, it is, by its very nature, impermanent. It is a temporary pattern of energy. Like a cloud, it has already begun to change, to shift, to dissipate. Knowing this, you do not have to fight it so hard. You can soften your body and your mind around it. You can allow it to be there, knowing that it is just a visitor, not a permanent resident. You can whisper to yourself, "This is not permanent. This too will pass." The same is true for pleasant experiences. We spend so much energy grasping and clinging. We feel a moment of deep peace, and a subtle fear arises with it. What if this goes away? We experience a moment of joy, and we immediately begin to worry about losing it. This clinging is the other side of resistance, and it is also a source of suffering. The wisdom of Anicca invites us to relax our grip. The deep feeling of relaxation you may be experiencing right now is wonderful. Enjoy it fully, appreciate it, but know that it, too, is impermanent. It will shift and change into something else. By not clinging to it, by not demanding that it stay forever, you are free to appreciate it more deeply for what it is, a precious, beautiful, and fleeting gift. You can enjoy the warmth of the fire without the anxious fear that it will go out. There is a timeless story that beautifully illustrates this wisdom. It is the story of a powerful king who was prone to great swings of emotion. When his kingdom was prosperous and he won a great victory, he would be lost in wild ecstasy. But when drought came, or he suffered a defeat, he would be plunged into the depths of inconsolable despair. Tired of this emotional roller coaster, he summoned the wisest minds in his kingdom and gave them a challenge. He said, "I want you to create for me a magic ring. It must have a power that, when I am sad, it will make me happy, and when I am happy, it will make me sad." The wise men were puzzled by this strange request, but after much deliberation, they came to the king and presented him with a simple, elegant gold ring. The king looked at it and saw that it had an inscription etched into its surface. The inscription was just 4 simple words: "This too shall pass." The king understood its profound wisdom instantly. When he was overcome with grief or anger, he would look at the ring and read the words, "This too shall pass," and he would remember that his sorrow was not a permanent state, which gave him the strength to endure. And when he was lost in the heights of triumphant celebration, he would look at the ring and read, "This too shall pass," and he would be reminded that his glory was also fleeting, which brought him a sense of humility and a deeper appreciation for the preciousness of that happy moment. Tonight, you can wear this invisible ring. As you lie here, whatever arises in your field of awareness, you can meet it with the wisdom of these words. A pleasant feeling of warmth spreads through your legs. You can gently note, "This too shall pass," and you can savor it fully without grasping. A sudden, anxious thought about money flashes through your mind. You can meet it with the gentle, knowing whisper, "This too shall pass," and you can allow it to be there without getting swept away by it. The sound of the rain, the feeling of the breath, the memory of a face, "This too shall pass." This simple phrase is not pessimistic. It is realistic, and in its realism, there is an immense freedom. It dissolves our need to fight with reality. It allows us to be at peace with the natural, flowing, ever-changing nature of life. As we rest in this deep, intuitive understanding of Anicca, as we watch the endless stream of thoughts, feelings, and sensations arise and pass away, a fascinating and profound question may begin to surface in the quiet spaces of the mind. If everything I experience is changing, if my thoughts are not permanent, my feelings are not permanent, my body is not permanent, then who or what am I? What is this self that seems to be the stable, unchanging witness of all this constant change? If everything I normally identify with my thoughts, my emotions, my story is just a passing cloud in the sky, then am I the cloud? Or could it be that I am the sky itself? This gentle inquiry into the very nature of the self, the silent experiencer, is the next step on our deep journey inward. Resting here in the deep understanding that everything changes, that everything is impermanent, a fascinating question begins to emerge from the quiet depths of the mind. If all my thoughts are in constant flux, arising and disappearing like clouds, if all my emotions are just fleeting weather patterns, if all my bodily sensations are a ceaseless river of change, then who or what am I? What is this self that appears to be the stable, unchanging witness to all this constant change? If everything I usually identify with is a passing phenomenon, am I the phenomenon? Or could it be that I am the space in which the phenomenon appears? This gentle inquiry leads us to the very heart of Buddhist wisdom, to an insight that can feel radical at first, but is ultimately the source of profound peace and freedom. The ancient word for this insight is anatta. This is often translated as no self, but that translation can be a bit frightening or misleading. It does not mean that you do not exist. You are clearly here. There is awareness. There is breathing, hearing, feeling. Rather, anatta points to the subtle truth that there is no fixed, permanent, independent I living at the center of your experience. The self that you take yourself to be is not a solid, continuous entity like a stone. It is more like a process, a verb, a constantly shifting pattern like a wave. It is a temporary gathering of different elements, all changing, all interconnected. Let us explore this with a gentle image. Imagine your sense of self is like an onion. On the very outside, you have the most obvious and tangible layer, your physical body, your name, your height, your appearance. This is the first layer we often identify with, but we know this body is constantly changing, aging, never the same from one moment to the next. So we peel back that layer. Underneath, we find the next layer, the constant, flickering stream of your physical sensations. Warmth, coolness, tingling, pressure, pleasure, pain. This layer is also in constant flux, as we have already seen. So we peel it away. Beneath that, we find the layer of your emotions, a vast and turbulent field of feelings: joy, sadness, anger, fear, boredom, contentment. These feelings arise and pass away with even greater speed. We often say, "I am sad," but the sadness is not a permanent part of us. It is a temporary weather pattern. So we peel away the layer of emotions. Next, we come to the incredibly busy layer of your thoughts, your opinions, your beliefs, your judgments, your plans, your daydreams. This layer is a ceaseless river of mental events, constantly flowing, constantly changing. We identify so strongly with our thoughts, but they are not solid. They are impermanent. So we peel back the layer of thought. Underneath, we find the layer of your memories, the stories you tell yourself about your past, creating your personal history. But even memories are not fixed. They change over time, colored by new experiences and emotions. We peel away the layer of memory. We keep peeling, layer after layer, looking for the core, We are searching for the essential you, the chief executive officer in the control tower of your mind, the permanent, unchanging soul who is the owner of all these experiences. But as we peel away the last layer of the onion, what do we find? There is no core. There is no central, solid pit at the heart of it all. There are only the layers. The self is like this onion. It is a temporary collection of body, sensations, feelings, thoughts, and memories, all arising and passing away, all deeply interconnected with the world around it. The profound freedom in this understanding comes from learning to stop identifying so strongly, so personally, with each passing layer. The real source of so much of our suffering is this act of mistaken identity. For example, when a feeling of anxiety arises, our deep and powerful habit is to immediately say to ourselves, "I am anxious." In that simple statement, we have done something dramatic. We have taken the entirety of our being, the vast, open sky of our awareness, and we have equated it with a single passing storm cloud. We have become the anxiety. The practice of anatta, of no self, invites a subtle but life-altering shift in our perception and our language. Instead of saying, "I am anxious," we can learn to simply notice, with a calm detachment, there is a feeling of anxiety arising in me. Or even more simply, anxiety is present. Do you feel the space in that? Do you feel the profound shift? The anxiety is no longer me. It is an event happening in my awareness. It is a cloud passing through the sky, and the sky is not damaged by the storm. Let's try this with other common identifications. Instead of thinking, "I am angry," you can gently observe. The energy of anger is present. Instead of the painful thought, "I am a failure," you can see it for what it is. A thought of failure has appeared in the mind. Instead of, "I am so tired," you can notice there is a strong sensation of tiredness in the body. This is not a word game. This is a practice of disidentification. It creates a space, a breathing room, between the vast, silent awareness that you are and the temporary, passing content of your experience. You are not the thought. You are the space in which the thought appears. You are not the emotion. You are the stillness that holds the emotion. So much of our daily stress and tension comes from the constant, exhausting work of defending this fragile sense of a solid self. It is like being the full-time, unpaid security guard for a phantom president. We are constantly defending our opinions as if they are us. We are protecting our image, polishing our story. We are guarding our feelings, terrified that this precious me will be hurt. But when you begin to see, and more importantly, to feel that the self is not a solid thing to be defended, but a fluid process to be witnessed, the entire battle of life begins to change. The need to struggle, to resist, to push and pull starts to ease. When a critical thought about you floats by on the river of the mind, you don't have to leap in and fight it to the death, because who exactly is being criticized? A temporary thought pattern? When a painful feeling arises, you don't need to build a massive wall to keep it out, because who exactly is being hurt? A passing sensation. You can allow it to arise and pass away, knowing that it cannot harm the vast open sky of your awareness. This is not a cold, nihilistic, or empty state. On the contrary, it is profoundly liberating. It feels like setting down a heavy, invisible backpack that you didn't even realize you were carrying your whole life. That backpack is filled with the story of me. It is stuffed with all my successes, which I must maintain, all my failures, which I must hide, all my history, which defines me, and all my worries about my future, which I must control. When you gently set that backpack down, recognizing it as just a collection of stories, you become lighter, more flexible, more spontaneous. You are more at peace with the unfolding of life, because it is no longer happening to a small, fragile, solid me. It is simply happening as this sense of a solid, separate self begins to soften and relax. The frantic need to do things also begins to soften. The constant, restless urge to control, to fix, to manage, and to strive begins to lessen. If there is no central CEO frantically directing the show, perhaps we can learn to trust the show itself. Perhaps we can learn to move with the natural current of life, rather than constantly trying to swim against it or direct its flow. This leads us to a beautiful and deeply restful wisdom, the wisdom of non-doing, the gentle art of allowing things to unfold just as they are. As the idea of a solid, separate self begins to soften, as you feel yourself less like a stone and more like a wave, the frantic, lifelong habit of doing can also begin to soften. The constant urge to control, to fix, to manage, and to strive begins to lose its powerful grip. If there is no permanent, central CEO in the control tower of the mind, perhaps we don't need to direct the show so fiercely. Perhaps, instead, we can learn to trust the show itself. Perhaps we can learn to move with the natural current of life, rather than constantly trying to swim against it. This leads us to a beautiful and deeply restful wisdom, a wisdom found in the ancient tradition of Taoism. It is the art of allowing things to be as they are. The concept is called Wu Wei. These two words are often translated as non-action or non-doing, but this can be misunderstood. Wu Wei does not mean lazy passivity or complete inaction. It is a much more subtle and intelligent state. Wu Wei is the art of effortless action. It is the wisdom of acting in perfect harmony with the natural flow of things, rather than struggling against it. It is knowing when to act and when to allow. And there is no area of human life where our desperate, effort-filled doing is more counterproductive, more destined to fail, than in our nightly quest for sleep. Think about it for a moment. You cannot do sleep. Sleep is not an action you can perform. It is not a goal you can achieve, a fortress you can conquer, or a prize you can win through sheer force of will. In fact, the very act of trying is what pushes sleep further away. The more you struggle to grasp it, the more it eludes you. Sleep is a shy, wild animal. If you charge at it, trying to capture it in the net of your will, it will vanish into the forest. It only emerges from the shadows when you become still, when you stop hunting it. Sleep is not an accomplishment. It is a surrender. It is an act of grace. It arrives only when we cease all our frantic doing and finally, allow ourselves to be found by it. Our minds, however, are conditioned to do. So we lie here and we try to sleep. We try to force our mind to be quiet. We try to force our body to relax. We check the clock, calculating how many hours of sleep we might get if we fall asleep right now. An act of mental doing that only produces more anxiety. We become frustrated with ourselves for not sleeping. Another layer of doing that adds agitation. We are like a person in a small boat on a wide, gently flowing river. The river's current, the natural flow, is already moving downstream towards the ocean of sleep. The path of Wu Wei, of effortless action, would be to simply rest in the boat, to perhaps use the rudder with a light, gentle touch here and there, just to keep the boat in the main current. The wise rower lets the river do the vast majority of the work, but that is not what we usually do. We are like another person in a boat on that same river. But this person distrusts the river. They believe that only their own frantic effort will get them to their destination. So they paddle furiously against the current in some places. They try to force the boat into stagnant eddies along the bank. They strain and sweat and exhaust themselves, fighting the very force that was trying to carry them home. They may eventually arrive at the ocean of sleep, but they arrive utterly depleted, having made the journey 1,000 times harder than it needed to be. Tonight, let us learn to be the first rower. Let us practice the art of Wu Wei in relation to our own rest. The river is the deep, natural, biological process of sleepiness that wants to carry you into the healing ocean of sleep. So, what are the gentle adjustments of the wise rower? What is the effortless action appropriate for this moment? The truth is, you have already done them. The doing part is over. You have made the wise decision to end your day. You have put on your comfortable clothes. You have come to lie down in this quiet, dark space. You have closed your eyes. You have made the choice to listen to this guidance. You have created the perfect conditions for rest. That is your part. That is the skillful action. The rest of it, the actual, mysterious process of falling asleep is not your job. It is the job of the river. It is the job of your body's own profound, innate wisdom. Consider the other miracles your body performs, all without the help of your conscious, thinking mind. After you eat a meal, you do not need to consciously supervise the process of digestion. You do not need to instruct your stomach on how to break down food, or tell your intestines how to absorb nutrients. You trust your body to do it. When you get a small cut on your finger, you do not need to mentally direct the cells on how to form a clot and knit the skin back together. You trust the deep, ancient wisdom of your body to heal itself. Most fundamentally, you do not do the act of breathing. Moment to moment, your body breathes for you. The very same intelligence that knows how to digest your food, heal your wounds, and breathe your breath is the exact same intelligence that knows perfectly how to sleep. It is a wisdom that has been encoded in your DNA for millions of years. It does not need the frantic, anxious interference of your thinking mind. In fact, your thinking mind is the only thing that ever gets in the way. So the most profound, skillful, and wise action you can take right now is to get out of the way. It is to consciously step aside and let your body's deep intelligence do its perfect work. It is to give the job of sleeping back to the part of you that actually knows how to do it. So the practice of Wu Wei, right now, is a practice of subtraction, not addition. We are not trying to add an effort to sleep. We are gently subtracting all the efforts that prevent it. When you notice your mind beginning to strategize, to worry, to plan how it is going to get to sleep, see this as doing, acknowledge it, and then gently let it go. When you feel your muscles tensing up in an effort to relax, notice this paradox. You cannot try to relax. You can only stop trying to be tense. So soften the effort. Let it go. The practice is to notice the urge to do and to consciously, gently release that urge. With every exhale, let go of a little more effort. Let go of a little more control. You are the wise farmer who has already planted the seeds. Now you must simply allow the night to do its work. You are the potter who has shaped the clay. Now you must simply allow the pot to dry. You are the rower who has pointed the boat downstream. Now you must simply allow the current to carry you. This is Wu Wei. It is a radical trust in the natural unfolding of things. As we practice this art of gentle non-doing, we are no longer at war with ourselves or with the present moment. We are not fighting our inability to sleep. We are simply allowing everything to be as it is. This profound state of acceptance, this deep surrender to the natural flow, is the very gateway to an even deeper state of stillness. It is the silence that appears not because we have forced all the noise to stop, but because we have finally stopped making noise ourselves. It is the clarity of a deep lake that can only emerge when the mud is finally allowed to settle, all on its own. As you practice this beautiful art of Wu Wei, this gentle non-doing, you cease to be at war with yourself. You are no longer struggling against the currents of your own experience. This profound acceptance, this deep surrender to the natural flow, is the very gateway to an even deeper state of being. It is the silence that appears not because we have forced all the noise to stop, but because we have finally stopped making noise ourselves. It is the clarity of a deep lake that can only emerge when the mud we have stirred up is finally allowed to settle, all on its own. Let us remain with this image now. Imagine that your mind, your entire consciousness, is a deep and ancient mountain lake. For most of our lives, we live only on the surface of this lake. The surface is where things are most active, most turbulent. The winds of the world, the events of the day, the words spoken by others, the demands on our time constantly stir this surface into ripples and waves. These ripples are your fleeting thoughts. These waves are your changing emotions. These choppy currents are your immediate reactions. Living on the surface, we are tossed about by every breeze. We mistake the constant motion of the surface for the fundamental nature of the entire lake. And so we believe that our nature is to be agitated, restless, and disturbed. But tonight, we are not going to stay on the surface. We have learned to be still, and this stillness allows for a gentle descent. Imagine your point of awareness, this quiet center of you that has been watching all along, slowly, weightlessly, beginning to sink beneath the busy surface of the lake. As you sink just a few feet down, you immediately notice a change. The frantic, choppy motion of the ripples on the surface becomes less distinct. The noise of the world above begins to muffle, to soften into a distant hum. The urgency of your surface thoughts begins to fade. You are sinking past the layer of immediate, reactive thinking. Let yourself sink deeper now, drifting down effortlessly into the cool, quiet emerald water. Down here, the light from the world above is softer, more gentle. You sink past the layer of your strong emotions. You can still perceive them far above you, perhaps like shifting currents of color, a flash of red for anger, a swirl of gray for anxiety, but down here, they have lost their power to pull you into their turbulence. You are an observer, watching them from a place of safety and calm. Their frantic energy cannot penetrate this deep. Deeper and deeper, you allow yourself to sink. The water becomes stiller. The temperature becomes constant, a gentle and supportive embrace. Down here, in the heart of the lake, the world of the surface is almost a distant memory. The storms that may be raging up there, the fierce winds of worry, the crashing waves of fear are completely unknown in this place. Down here, there is no wind. There is no turbulence. There is only a profound, unshakable, and timeless calm. This is the deep lake of silence that exists within you. It is your true nature. It has always been here, beneath the noisy surface of your personality. It was here yesterday, when you were busy and stressed. It was here this morning, when you woke up. It is here now, waiting for you. This deep stillness is not something you have to create, or build, or achieve. You cannot manufacture stillness through effort. You can only discover it. You can only arrive here. Your only job is to let go of your fascination with the surface and allow yourself to sink into the profound depths that are already, and have always been, completely at peace. This deep inner stillness can also be understood through another powerful image. Imagine yourself your truest essence, as a great ancient mountain. Your base is rooted deep in the earth, and your peak reaches towards the sky. You sit in an immense, unshakable silence. The weather all around you changes constantly. One day, beautiful, fluffy white clouds like pleasant, happy thoughts drift gently by your slopes. You allow them to come, and you allow them to go. The next day, dark, heavy storm clouds, like difficult emotions and painful memories, gather around your peaks. Thunder and lightning may crash and echo through your valleys. The wind may howl with ferocious intensity. Rain may pour down your sides. But through all of this dramatic, changing weather, what happens to the mountain itself? Absolutely nothing. The mountain remains. It is not bruised by the hail. It is not frightened by the thunder. It is not pushed over by the wind. It does not try to cling to the sunny days, nor does it try to push the storm clouds away. It sits in a state of profound equanimity, allowing the weather to be what it is, knowing that the weather is not who it is. Its own fundamental nature is solid, stable, silent, and still. You are the mountain. Your thoughts, your feelings, your life circumstances, they are the ever-changing weather. For so long, you have mistaken yourself for the weather, believing you are the storm. But your true nature is the mountain. Resting here, in this deep silence, you are resting in your own mountain-like nature, unshakable, immovable, enduring. The practice now is simply to rest here, to abide in this deep, silent, peaceful place at the bottom of the lake, at the heart of the mountain. You do not need to worry about the surface anymore. The winds of thought may still blow up there. A stray worry may ripple the surface far above. That is okay. From down here, in the deep, you can observe that surface activity with a calm and loving detachment. It does not disturb your core of silence. You do not have to rise all the way back to the surface to deal with every little ripple. You can choose to remain here, in the quiet depths, and simply let it pass. You are choosing to reside in the fundamental silence of your being, rather than in the temporary noise of your thinking. Let your body sink deeper into this feeling of stillness. Let every muscle, every cell become saturated with this deep, quiet peace. This is your home. This is your refuge. You can always return here, in any moment of your life, no matter how chaotic the weather on the surface may seem. The deep lake of silence is always waiting for you, just beneath. When you look up from the bottom of a truly still and clear lake, the world above the surface appears sharp and defined, but also somehow distant and less personally threatening. The light is filtered, softened. The frantic energy is gone. As we rest here, in this deep inner silence, our perception of the world begins to change in the very same way. The confusing, chaotic energy of life begins to clarify. We start to see things not through the distorted and turbulent lens of our own emotions and anxieties, but with the clear, pristine vision of a mind that is fundamentally at rest. From this profound silence emerges a new kind of seeing, a perception as clear, as bright, and as pure as a flawless, unstained mirror. Resting here in the deep, silent stillness at the bottom of the lake, at the heart of the mountain, your perception of the world begins to clarify. The frantic, confusing energy of life settles down, and you begin to see things not through the distorted lens of your own emotional turbulence, but with the clear, pristine vision of a mind that is fundamentally at rest. From this profound silence emerges a new kind of seeing, a perception as clear, as bright, and as pure as a flawless, unstained mirror. Let us explore this new way of seeing now. Imagine that your fundamental awareness, this silent consciousness that is listening to these words right now, is like a perfect mirror. It is not a small hand mirror, but a vast one, as wide as the sky itself. It is perfectly smooth, utterly clear, and without a single flaw or imperfection. Its nature is simply to reflect, and everything you experience, every thought, every emotion, every memory, every sound, every physical sensation is simply a reflection appearing for a moment on the bright surface of this mirror. A thought about tomorrow drifts into your mind. See it not as you thinking, but as a single, white cloud passing across the vast, blue face of the mirror. The mirror reflects the cloud perfectly, showing every detail of its shape and texture. But does the mirror become the cloud? Is the mirror worried about the cloud's journey? Number. The mirror simply reflects. The cloud drifts on, and the mirror remains unchanged, still, clear, and spacious, ready to reflect whatever comes next. Now a feeling arises, perhaps a wave of sadness, or a flicker of anxiety. See this emotion as a color, a light that flashes across the mirror's surface, a deep, sorrowful blue, or a sharp, electric yellow. The mirror reflects this color perfectly, in all its intensity. But is the mirror stained by the color? Does it become permanently blue with sadness, or forever yellow with anxiety? Number. The color appears. It is known. It is reflected. And then it fades, leaving the mirror just as pristine and clear as it was before. The mirror is never harmed by the reflections it shows. The sound of the rain, the feeling of warmth in your body, the memory of a conversation from years ago, these are all just more reflections. They arise. They are held in the mirror of your awareness for a moment, and then they pass. The mirror itself is never improved by a beautiful reflection, and it is never diminished by an ugly one. Its nature is pure, unconditional acceptance. Its only function is to reflect effortlessly. For most of our lives, we make a fundamental and painful mistake. We forget that we are the mirror. We believe we are the reflections. When an angry thought appears in the mirror, we point to it and say, "That is me. I am angry." We fuse our entire identity with a fleeting, insubstantial reflection. When a memory of failure appears, we say, "I am a failure," and we suffer as if this passing image were a permanent truth about who we are. We spend our lives chasing the pleasant reflections, trying to hold on to them, and running from the unpleasant ones, trying to scrub them from the mirror's surface. But this is an exhausting and impossible task. It is the root of our struggle. The practice tonight is to remember who you truly are. It is to shift your identity, your sense of self, from the passing reflections to the mirror itself, to rest in your true nature as the vast, clear, silent, and unchanging awareness that is effortlessly reflecting all of this life. In the history of Zen Buddhism, there is a famous story that illustrates this profound shift. A great monastery was holding a poetry contest to decide who would be the next spiritual successor. The sixth patriarch, the head monk, a man of great learning and discipline, wrote a verse on a hallway wall for all to see. His verse read, "The body is the Bodhi tree. The mind is like a bright mirror stand. At all times we must strive to polish it and must not let dust collect." This is a beautiful poem about diligent practice. It speaks of seeing the mind as a mirror that gets dusty with worldly thoughts and feelings, and our job is to constantly clean it, to strive for purity. Many monks praised this verse, but an illiterate kitchen hand named Huineng, who had never studied the scriptures but had a deep, intuitive understanding of truth, heard the verse and knew it was missing the final point. He asked another monk to write a new verse on the wall beside it. Huineng's verse said, "Bodhi is originally not a tree. The bright mirror is also not a stand. Originally, there is not a single thing. Where can dust alight? Huineng's stunning insight was this: our true nature, our mind, as mirror, is not something that can ever be stained. It is already, and has always been, perfectly pure, clear, and bright. The dust of our thoughts, our feelings, our worldly troubles, is just a series of insubstantial reflections. Dust cannot stick to a mirror. It has no power to stain it. Therefore, the frantic, effort-filled work of constantly polishing the mirror is unnecessary. The only practice is to recognize the inherently pure and unstained nature of the mirror itself. So, as you rest here, let this be your meditation. You are the mirror. A thought appears. See it as a reflection. A sound is heard. See it as a reflection. An emotion is felt. See it as a reflection. Notice the effortless nature of this. You, the mirror, are not doing anything. You are not creating the reflections. They appear and disappear on their own, a spontaneous display of life. The mirror's nature is simply to receive, to reflect, and to let go, all without any effort, all without any judgment. From the mirror's point of view, there is no good reflection or bad reflection. A reflection of a beautiful sunset is not better than a reflection of a pile of garbage. The mirror reflects both with the same impartial, unconditional equanimity. It does not try to cling to the sunset or push away the garbage. It simply allows both to be seen. Can you begin to offer this same unconditional acceptance to the contents of your own mind? Can you allow the thoughts of fear and the thoughts of peace to be reflected with the same non-judgmental clarity? Can you see that they are both just images, just clouds, passing across the vast open sky of your awareness? As you rest in this state, as the mirror, a strange and wonderful thing begins to happen. The hard, solid line that we normally draw between what is inside me and what is outside me starts to become soft, transparent, and blurry. Think about it. The sound of the rain, which we think of as outside, is appearing as a reflection in the mirror of your mind. A thought about your childhood, which we think of as inside, is appearing as a reflection in the very same mirror. A sensation of warmth in your body and the feeling of the cool night air on your skin, they are all just reflections, appearing and disappearing in the one unified space of your awareness. The mirror itself makes no distinction between an inside reflection and an outside reflection. It just reflects what is. As this artificial boundary between self and world begins to dissolve, we can start to experience a profound sense of unity, a feeling of merging with the totality of our experience. We are no longer a small self looking out at a big world. We are the space in which the entire world appears. Resting here, as the mirror of awareness, you begin to see that the mirror itself makes no distinction between an inside reflection and an outside reflection. A thought, a feeling, a sound, all are treated with the same impartial equanimity. As this realization deepens, the hard, solid line that we normally draw between me, inside my skin, and the world, outside, starts to become soft, transparent, and blurry. We begin to experience a profound sense of unity, emerging with the world around us. Let us explore this dissolving boundary now, using the sense of hearing as our gentle guide. Return your awareness, once again, to the sound that has been our faithful companion tonight. Perhaps it is the soft percussion of the rain, the low murmur of the wind, or the gentle crackle of the fire. Let this sound, for now, become the entire field of your experience. Let it be all that there is. Normally, we experience this phenomenon of hearing in a very distinct, dualistic way. There is me, the listener, the subject, the perceiver, who sits over here, inside my head. And there is the sound, the object, the thing being perceived, which is happening over there, outside of me. There is a clear separation. I am hearing the sound. But let us investigate this common experience more closely, with a gentle and open curiosity. Where exactly is this me that is doing the listening? Can you find it? Can you locate it in space? Is it in your ears? Is it somewhere in the center of your brain? Search for it now. Look for the listener. You may find that as you look for it, it becomes elusive, like trying to catch a shadow. You may find that what you call the listener is just another thought, another concept, another reflection appearing in the mirror. And now, let's investigate the other side of the equation. Where is the sound? We say, it is out there, but is that where you are actually experiencing it? Or is the entire experience of the sound its pitch, its rhythm, its texture happening within the vast, boundless space of your own consciousness? The vibration may be outside, but the experience of hearing is entirely inside the field of your awareness. Seeing this, seeing that both the listener and the listened to are phenomena appearing in the same space of awareness, we can begin to let go of the separation between them. See if you can, just for now, drop the whole story of a listener and a thing being listened to. Let there be only listening. Let there be only the sound as a total, all-encompassing, unified experience. Instead of the thought, I am hearing the rain, can you soften your mind into the simple, direct reality of hearing rain? See it as a single, indivisible event. There is no I separate from the hearing. There is no rain separate from the experience of it in your awareness. Let the sound wash through you. Let it permeate every cell. Let the boundary of your skin seem to dissolve, so you are no longer sure where you end and where the sound begins. Can you feel the vibration of the sound not just in your ears, but in your whole body? Can you become the sound? You are not a person listening to the rain. You are the cool, rhythmic patter of the rain, vibrating in the open space of awareness. You are the low, steady whisper of the wind. You are the warm, gentle crackle of the fire. You merge with the experience. Imagine you are a single drop of water, held for a timeless moment within a vast white cloud. You have a sense of yourself as a complete, separate drop. You have your own boundaries, your own distinct identity. You are you. Then, the moment of release comes. You begin to fall, a single drop descending through the immense open sky. And then, you touch the surface of a great, calm ocean. For a single, shimmering instant, there is the meeting of the drop and the ocean. And then, in the next instant, you merge, you dissolve. In that moment of merging, are you destroyed? Have you ceased to exist? Number. In fact, in a very real way, you have become infinitely bigger. You are still water. You have lost nothing of your essential nature. But you are no longer limited by the tiny, fragile boundaries of a single drop. You have become the ocean. Your small, separate identity has been lovingly, willingly offered up to a much vaster reality. You have come home. This is what happens in the deepest moments of letting go. When we release our tight grip on the idea of being a separate self, we do not disappear. We expand. We dissolve the artificial boundary of our skin, of our name, of our personal history, and we merge with the totality of the present moment. We become the ocean of being. There is a profound and unshakable peace in this. When there is no separate me to be defended, there is no longer any need for fear. When there is no me to stand apart from the world, there is no longer any possibility of loneliness. The deep, underlying tension of being a small, fragile, vulnerable self, observing a vast and sometimes threatening world, simply dissolves. It is seen to be an illusion. There is only the world, experiencing itself. There is only life, living itself through this particular, unique point of view. It is the ultimate act of letting go. It is the release of the primary and most fundamental tension of all the tension between self and other. Rest in this unified field. Be the sound, be the vibration, be the space in which it is all happening. There is no need to do anything because the doer has dissolved into the doing. There is no need to go anywhere because you are already everywhere. There is no need to seek peace because in the absence of a separate self, all that is left is peace. This is a state of profound simplicity. As we rest here, in this undivided awareness, where the listener and the sound have become one, where the drop has merged with the ocean, we arrive in a place that is beyond concepts. The complex world of subjects and objects, of nouns and verbs, of me versus the world, has collapsed into a single, seamless whole. What remains is a vast, open, and luminous space. A space that is empty of struggle, empty of separation, empty of a self that needs to be protected or promoted. Do not be afraid of this word, emptiness. This is not the cold, desolate emptiness of nothingness. It is the warm, vibrant, and alive emptiness of pure potential. It is the fertile void from which all things arise. It is the profound silence from which all sounds are born. Resting here, in this undivided awareness where the listener and the sound have become one, where the drop has merged into the ocean, we arrive in a state of profound and simple reality. The complex world we usually inhabit, a world of subjects and objects, of me versus the world, of good versus bad, has collapsed. Its frantic energy has subsided. What remains is a vast, open, silent, and luminous space. A space that is empty of struggle, empty of separation, empty of a self that needs to be defended. Do not be afraid of this word, emptiness. In our culture, it often sounds frightening, suggesting loneliness, lack, nihilism, or despair. But in the deep wisdom traditions of the East, emptiness, or shunyata in Sanskrit, means something entirely different. It is not a negative, deficient emptiness. It is a positive, liberating, and pregnant emptiness. It is not the emptiness of a house that has been abandoned and left to decay. It is the vast, boundless emptiness of the clear blue sky, which holds the sun, the moon, and all the stars. Shunyata means that all things are empty of a separate, solid, independent, and unchanging self. We have been exploring this truth all along our journey tonight. We have seen that a thought is empty of being a permanent fixture in the mind. An emotion is empty of being a fixed part of our identity. Our body is empty of being a static, unchanging object. We have even seen that our very sense of being an I, a separate self, is empty of a solid core, just like an onion. Everything is interconnected. Everything is a fluid process. Nothing exists on its own, isolated from everything else. This is the meaning of emptiness. It is not that things do not exist. It is that they do not exist in the solid, separate way we usually imagine. Let us explore this with a simple analogy. Consider a drinking cup. What is it that makes the cup useful? Is it the solid porcelain, or glass of its walls. The solid material is certainly necessary. But what truly gives the cup its function, its purpose? It is the emptiness inside. It is the space within the walls. It is the shunyata of the cup that allows it to hold water, to contain tea, to be filled with whatever you wish. If the cup were a solid block of porcelain, it would be useless as a cup. Its potential lies in its emptiness. Now, consider the room in which you are resting. What makes this room a useful, livable space? Is it the four walls, the floor, and the ceiling? These structures define the room, but the essence of the room, its very function, is the empty space between them. It is this emptiness that allows you to be here, to move, to breathe, to live. The empty space is what makes the room a sanctuary. It is a space of pure possibility. Your mind, in its natural, original state, is just like this. It is like the empty cup. It is like the open room. It is a space of infinite potential, of boundless capacity. But throughout the day, we fill it up. We fill it with the clutter of our thoughts, the residue of our emotions, the endless lists of our worries and plans. We fill it with the heavy, solid idea of being a me who is separate and vulnerable. By the time we come to bed, our mind is like a room so cluttered with furniture and boxes that there is no space left to rest. It is like a cup already full to the brim with muddy water, and in this state of fullness, of clutter, it cannot receive anything new. It cannot receive the clear, pure, healing gift of deep sleep. But tonight, through our journey, we have been gently emptying our cup. We have poured out the muddy water of yesterday's regrets. We have resisted filling it with tomorrow's anxieties. We have dissolved the solid identity of being a separate self. And so we arrive here, in this beautiful, open, receptive space. This is the fertile void. This is the mind in its original state. And from this open spaciousness, all good things can arise, naturally and without effort. Peace arises from this space. True creativity is born from this space. Love and compassion well up from this space. And deep, restorative sleep is what naturally fills the mind when the mind becomes empty, open, and receptive to it. Sleep is not a thing you must chase and add to a full mind. It is the natural guest that arrives when you have finally cleared the room and opened the door. This emptiness is like the vast, clear sky at midnight. The sky is empty of clouds, but is it nothing? No, it is the space that allows the moon and all the countless stars to shine their light. The sky is the potential for all weather. A storm may pass through, but the sky is not the storm. A rainbow may appear, but the sky is not the rainbow. The sky is never harmed, never stained, never diminished by whatever passes through it. It is pure, open, boundless potentiality. Resting here, you are resting as this vast sky, not as the fleeting weather of your thoughts and feelings. You are abiding in your own limitless nature, empty of fixed limitations, and therefore completely full of possibility. The practice now is the simplest of all, for it is a practice of no practice. It is simply to be this space. There is nothing to do, because doing belongs to the world of forms, the world of full cups and cluttered rooms. Here, in the emptiness, there is only being. So, be the empty cup, be the open room, be the clear sky. And if, from the depths of this silence, a thought should arise, simply watch it. See it appear in this vast space, like a single, silent bird flying across the infinite sky. Notice how the thought does not fill the sky. It does not stain the sky. It simply appears, travels for a moment, and disappears back into the vastness from which it came. There is no need to do anything about it. Your only work is to remain as the spaciousness itself, the silent witness to this effortless display. As we rest in this fertile void, this profound simplicity, even our most basic and solid concepts begin to lose their sharp edges. The hard line we draw between waking and sleeping starts to soften and blur. We can begin to see them not as two opposing states at war with each other, but as two different expressions arising from and returning to the same silent, empty ground of our being. They are two different kinds of clouds, appearing in the same sky. Here, at the very edge of consciousness, we can let go of all categories, all labels, even the label of trying to sleep. We are simply surrendering to the great mystery. We are allowing the vessel of our being to drift on the deep, silent currents of this great ocean towards the quiet and welcoming shore of deep slumber. And so we rest here, in this vast, quiet, open space, this fertile void. We are allowing the vessel of our being to drift on the deep, silent currents of a great ocean, carried gently towards the quiet and welcoming shore of deep slumber. The journey of effort is now over. The time for doing has passed. All that is left is a final, gentle surrender. And so now, the words themselves will begin to soften, to slow down, becoming fewer and farther between. My voice is just another sound in the night, another gentle current in the water. Let it be a soft murmur, a quiet whisper, nudging your boat ever so slightly towards that peaceful shore. There is nothing left to learn, nothing left to understand. There is only this, a gentle, easy, simple letting go. As you drift here, in this calm and peaceful state, you may begin to notice certain subtle shifts, certain feelings in your body and mind. These are the signs that you are nearing the shore of sleep. Do not be afraid of them. Do not be startled. See them as welcome friends, here to guide you home. Perhaps you notice a feeling of profound heaviness. Your limbs may feel weighted, your body sinking down, gently, into the mattress, into the earth itself. This is a beautiful feeling. It is the feeling of your body finally letting go of all its tension, all its holding. Let the heaviness be a comfort, a deep, grounding anchor. Allow yourself to sink. There is nothing to hold on to anymore. Or perhaps you feel the opposite, a sense of wonderful lightness, of floating, as if your body has no weight at all. You may feel as if you are drifting on a calm, warm sea, or floating gently among the clouds. This too is a sign of profound release, of your spirit untethering itself from the day's concerns. If you feel this lightness, allow yourself to float, to drift. There is nothing to tie you down, and your thoughts, which were once so loud, so strong, so linear, may now seem different. They may seem scattered and soft, like fragments of a dream. A random image may float by. A single word may echo softly and disappear. A memory may appear without its emotional charge. This is not a problem to be solved. This is a sign of victory. It is the thinking, controlling mind finally dissolving its grip, finally surrendering its power. Let the thoughts be like wisps of smoke, rising and disappearing into the vast, quiet sky. You may even feel a small twitch in your finger, or a sudden jerk in your leg. This too is a good sign, a welcome friend. It is simply the body releasing the very last of its stored-up energy, the last vestiges of the day's tension. It is a final sigh of physical relief. Welcome it and let it go. You have been on a long journey tonight. You are like a rower in a small, steady boat on a wide, gentle river. For this whole time, you have been gently guiding the boat, but now you can see the great, peaceful ocean of sleep ahead. The current of the river is pulling you gently but surely towards it. The air is soft, the water is calm, and for this whole journey, you have been holding the oars, perhaps just resting them lightly in your hands, but you have been holding them nonetheless. Now is the time for the final act of trust. It is time to let go of the oars completely. In your mind's eye, see your hands and see them gently, softly, releasing their grip. Let the smooth wooden oars drift from your fingers. Feel them float away on the water. Watch them disappear into the soft darkness. You no longer need them. You no longer need to steer. You no longer need to guide. You no longer need to control in any way at all. The river knows the way. This great, wise current of life and rest is carrying you home to the deep, silent sea of sleep. All that is required of you now, the only thing required, is to allow it, to trust it, to surrender to it completely. Sleep is not a cliff that you fall off of in the dark. It is a gentle tide that slowly rises to meet you. It is not an enemy that you must conquer. It is a loving presence, waiting to embrace you. Sleep is not a state you must achieve through effort. It is your own true nature, returning to itself for healing and restoration. So do not hold your breath, waiting for the sudden drop into unconsciousness. There is no need. Instead, exhale a long, slow, soft sigh, and let the tide of sleep gently lift you. Let it hold you. Let it rock you. Trust that it will receive you. It wants to receive you. It is waiting for you with open arms. Even the part of you that has been watching all of this, the silent observer, the witness, the mirror, even this awareness can now begin to rest. The watcher can become sleepy. The mirror can grow dim as it prepares to be renewed and polished by the deep, healing quiet of the night. Let go of the need to know what happens next. Let go of the need to be aware of the exact moment you fall asleep. You don't need to witness your own departure. Your only job now, your only task, is to let go, and to let go, and to let go again. With every breath out, a little more letting go, a little more softening, a little more sinking. Just drift and float and release and let go. The river is carrying you. Sleep is welcoming you. Rest now. Rest now. Deep, deep rest. Rest. Breathe. Let go. Drift. Float. Once stood before a crowd, and he did not speak. He simply held up a single flower, and in the fall, great silence, one person understood and smiled. The deepest truth is passed without words. Trust the silence. The wisdom is here, not in the words. Silence. Osa. Osa. Stillness. Peace. Surrender. Enter. 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 Rest. And from this deep, silent peace, a final blessing for the journey into the heart of the night. Rest, breathe, let go, drift, float, and the great teacher once stood before a crowd, and he did not speak. He simply held up a single flower, and in the great silence, one person understood and smiled. The deepest truth is passed without words. Trust the silence. The wisdom is here, not in the words, but in the quiet. End. Towns, silence, stillness, peace, surrender, deep, rest, tamindu. And from this deep, silent peace, a final blessing for the journey into the heart of the night. And from this deep, silent peace, a final image, a final blessing to carry you into the heart of the night. I invite you to imagine now, in the vast, quiet space of your mind, the image of a single, perfect lotus flower. See it resting on the surface of a still, dark pond, under the soft light of the moon and the stars. To understand the beauty of this flower, we must first honor its journey. Its roots are buried deep down in the thick, dark mud at the bottom of the pond. See this mud not as something dirty or unpleasant, but as the rich, messy, fertile ground of your life. This mud is the collection of all your experiences, all your struggles, your worries, your sorrows, and your joys. It is the raw, earthy material of your human existence, from which all wisdom and strength must grow. You have been brave enough to feel this ground tonight, and now you can let it rest. And from these deep roots, buried in the darkness, a single slender stem begins its journey. It rises up, through the cool, dark water. This water is the journey we have just taken together. It is the water of awareness, the water of compassion, the water of letting go. As the stem journeyed upwards through this water, it was cleansed. The mud was washed away. It was nourished and prepared for the world of light and air. And now, after its long journey from the depths, a single, tightly closed bud rests upon the surface of the pond. It floats there, perfectly poised, cradled by the deep stillness of the water, held by the quiet peace of the night that surrounds it. This bud is you, right now, here, at the threshold of deep rest, full of potential, ready to open. And as you finally let go, as you surrender to the gentle pull of sleep, this bud begins to unfold, slowly, gracefully, petal by perfect petal. It opens itself to the soft moonlight. There is no effort, no struggle. The unfolding is a natural, inevitable blooming, a quiet blossoming in the heart of the night. This unfolding lotus flower is your own mind, your own heart. It has emerged from the rich mud of your daily life. It has been cleansed by the clear water of your practice tonight, and now it is free to bloom into a state of perfect, peaceful rest. See the petals. They are soft, pure, pristine, utterly unstained. They are not touched by the memory of the mud from which they came. They simply rest in their own innate, perfect beauty. This is the nature of your mind in deep, restorative sleep, pure, peaceful, whole, and radiantly still. And so, this is my final wish for you, my final blessing for your journey into the night. May your sleep be like the unfolding of this lotus, effortless, graceful, beautiful, and deep. May you rest in the silent, peaceful center of your own being, as still and as serene as the golden heart of the flower. May your dreams be gentle, like the soft moonlight glinting on the petals. And may your rest be profound, nourishing every single cell of your body and every quiet, spacious corner of your mind. Let go now and allow yourself to bloom into the deep peace of the night. There is nothing left to hold on to, nothing left to do. The journey is complete. All that is left is to become the flower. Sleep now. Deep, lotus sleep. May you be peaceful. May your rest be deep. Unfold into the quiet. Unfold into the peace. Unfold into the night. Sleep, sleep. Oh, deep, leap. We've journeyed together through the landscape of modern life, a world often characterized by relentless pressure and a pervasive sense of unease. We began by acknowledging the very real suffering that subtly, yet profoundly, permeates our daily existence. The anxiety, the constant striving, the feeling of being perpetually overwhelmed. We then delved into the profound wisdom of Buddhist philosophy, not as a rigid doctrine, but as a practical guide, a timeless compass pointing towards inner peace. We uncovered the fundamental truths of impermanence, anicca, and non-self, anatta, realizing that much of our suffering stems from clinging to things that are, by their very nature, fleeting. This led us to understand craving and attachment, tanha, as the root cause of our disquiet, the insatiable thirst that keeps us running on a hamster wheel of dissatisfaction. The Four Noble Truths provided us with a logical framework, recognizing suffering, identifying its cause, affirming its cessation, and charting a path to liberation. That path, the Eightfold Path, became our practical roadmap. We explored each facet, from right understanding to right concentration, recognizing how these interconnected elements cultivate wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. We learned to harness the power of mindfulness to anchor ourselves in the present moment, to observe our emotions without judgment, and to cultivate compassion and loving kindness, metta and karuna, extending warmth not only to others but also to ourselves. We embraced the art of letting go, finding freedom in non-attachment, and discovered the profound joy that comes from generosity, dana. Ultimately, we recognized the interconnectedness of all things, understanding that our well-being is intricately linked to the world around us. The profound message woven throughout this exploration is simple yet transformative. Peace is not the absence of problems, but the ability to navigate them with a calm and centered mind. It's not a distant destination you arrive at, but an ongoing process, a way of being that you cultivate moment by moment. True tranquility isn't found in external achievements, material possessions, or the approval of others. It resides within you, an inherent capacity waiting to be awakened. This wisdom is not exclusive to any one path or person. It is a universal truth, accessible to anyone willing to look inward and embark on the journey of self-discovery. You hold the power to quiet the noise, to release the grip of anxiety, and to cultivate a profound sense of well-being that is unshaken by the storms of life. Start small. Perhaps it's a few minutes of mindful breathing each day, a conscious effort to speak with kindness, or simply taking a moment to appreciate the present. Each small step is a brick in the foundation of your inner sanctuary. Embrace this journey, for you are the architect of your own inner peace.